What is up? Welcome back to Dead Air, episode 3. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego and the rest of our fucking movie for 2020? What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Friday afternoon. CP, what is up?
Aloha. How are you?
I'm good. Nice, relaxing day at home off of work. Can never complain about that.
Sure.
We were talking before we went on air. I looked on, kind of per the topic we're talking about, I looked online to see what the hell my local theater was even playing. Come to find out, The Lost Boys is in the theater. So me and the youngins will be going there here in a couple hours to check that out.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Other than that, I have a week left in this house. Got to still pack a lot of this house and then move this entire fucking house.
So you're legit. You got the house.
With the exception of us signing on the dotted line, everything is good. So unless the current tenants burn the motherfucker down, it's pretty much ours. The VA loan and everything went through. The VA inspection went through. They've repaired the things that we asked them to repair. Yeah.
Okay.
We are 99% homeowners.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And stressful.
Yeah, you take the stress though with the knowing that it's yours.
Yes, absolutely. I've already had to calm Holly down. We were at the drive-through line at Chick-fil-A last night getting our dinner, and she's like, "I want to get a security system, and since I'm going to pay for the moving truck, I want you to get this." And then she was already talking about painting a couple of days ago, and then I'm like, "Can we move in first, and then we'll get to step 9 and 10?" So she's very excited. She's more. I'm excited, but she's excited. DEFCON 20.
Yeah.
So she's already got the next 3 years of projects mapped out in her head, I think.
Sure. Having your own house after a lifetime of apartments is just. You could be yourself. Like it's so strange. Like if you wanted to put a fucking hole in the wall, be my guest. But
yep.
Why you would do that, I don't know.
Because I like it this way.
Man cave.
Yeah. I want a fridge in that wall.
That is my can dispenser now.
Yep. Oh man, what is up, everybody? Usual suspects. I see Dale. I think you said you were at lunch at school. Way to be dedicated, my friend.
Yeah,
Marvel buff nerd, Jonathan Nichols. Yes, I am staying in Georgia. Just moving 10 minutes down the street. Tom, Robert, Quentin, what is up? So yeah, guys. So today we wanted to talk about, CP actually brought it up, wanted to talk about all the final pretty much moves of 2020. Well, hang on before I even get into that. Movie Freak 2000. Hey, Cody, when you get moved in, are we expecting a movie collection video? Hey, CP, you both rock. I don't know about right after I move in. I'm kind of saving that up for when I hit 50K. So whenever I hit 50K, expect a complete Blu-ray collection extravaganza. But yeah, so we have the final blockbusters with the exception of Wonder Woman still hanging on to December.
And hold your breath because I think that one's going soon. Yeah.
So Wonder Woman holding on to December. Other than that, everybody else has hauled ass. The James Bond was the last big one. Once James Bond hauled ass, Regal Cinemas said, "Okay, we're done for the foreseeable future in the UK and the US." So a lot of things happening. CP.
So I know you joined us briefly on Monday. Well, you're in the chat. Mm-hmm. Every week, Monday night, 9 p.m. on my channel, we talk about movie news and box office stuff. Kind of boring elements of movie news. But we were talking about the fact that the studios and theater companies have signed a deal to where 2 years starting this August, so August of 2020, so 2 years, August 2022, studios can start owning their own theaters, which hasn't been a thing in like 70 years.
Wow.
So studios have been notoriously picky, stingy about wanting their money and wanting to be able to control their movies more. We all have this theory that, studios are just going to keep pushing back and pushing back and pushing back till they can release it in their own buildings. And I don't think they care one bit what happens to AMC, Regal, Cinemark, insert movie chain name here. It's a bit tinfoil hat, but
man, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, Disney. Would you be surprised if Disney just kept everything on Disney Plus until 2022 and said, that's it. Now I have a Disneyland, the theater complex, and
it would make sense. I don't know the laws. I don't know if that's a monopoly thing going on, if they can get in trouble with that. But I could envision a future where you have the Universal Cineplex, the Disney Cineplex, or maybe they'll have partnerships and 2 or 3 of them will bump up together. And I was kind of going to talk about that, even if they didn't have their own theater chains. At some point, something's going to have to shake. I mean, I would say if January 2021, if we're not back in theaters somewhat, then they're going to have to be like, okay, like we're going to have to cut our losses on the next year and a half, 2 years of movies, and do something to where Universal Plus,
Right.
MGM Plus,
Universal ABC, so
something, and you have to be a member of that streaming service. That's probably $100 a year, maybe more than that, and then you could watch all the Universal films or something. They're gonna have to get creative. They're gonna have to get creative somehow, because I mean, it sucks that Tenet and Mulan were our litmus tests, because not saying the movies were bad. I haven't seen Mulan, but they were a terrible litmus test, because Tenet, very confusing, hard to market movie that's just kind of going off of the power of the director's name. It's not necessarily a casual moviegoer's movie. Didn't have the best word of mouth coming out of it, where a lot of people were kind of confused. And so that was not a movie to say, hey guys, come on back to the theaters. And then Mulan, with the way that they did their little deal where you have to pay for it just to be able to license it, basically. And then there was some controversy. I don't remember exactly what, with something the actress had said.
She's now pro Hong Kong
something
Chinese movie, which isn't good.
And now everybody's pissed off because Disney's like, well, we ain't making money on this, so they pushed this shit out to Amazon Instant Video and Google Chrome and all that stuff. So now you can pay the same money to own the bitch, and everybody on Disney Plus is like, what the fuck, man? So two terrible litmus tests for if we're ready to go back to the theaters. I think if they would have released like Black Widow or something like that, that would have been a better idea of how many people are going to go back to the theaters. And I'm boggled. I'm still boggled why, if nobody else, why Spiral isn't just owning October on VOD.
Dude, exactly. Like I've been saying this for fucking months. October horror movies, people enjoy them at home. And no matter how much you like to flip $10 into $20 at the movie theater, you'd make a hell of a lot more by renting shit on VOD. People are more inclined to check stuff out at home. Hell, I just watched Vampires vs. the Bronx because it was at home. It's strange that none of the, I mean, Spiral, I wouldn't even consider it like A class. People aren't sure what that is. Halloween, you want to wait, whatever. I still think that needs to be going on VOD too. I just think there's more money to be made if you bring it to people's backyard, so to speak. The time isn't. Just capitalize on it now. People are laying people off. It's really kind of gnarly. Warner laid off a couple of hundred people a couple of weeks ago. AMC is just losing money like a sieve. So, what are you guys waiting for? You have these products, yet you keep pushing back, and it's just why. Why?
Yeah.
Well, it's not like you're pumping out product.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like Spiral really jumped the gun. That was one of the first movies to say "see ya" and then moved like a year away.
Yeah, it doesn't even have a date. They're like
May. I think it was May, isn't it?
Oh, who am I thinking of? There's one of them that doesn't even have a date right now.
Candyman.
Right.
Candyman just said tentative 2021. Yeah. That's another one. Like, look, I really want to see Candyman in the theaters, and I'll be patient enough to watch it. They're not really on like a ticking clock or anything like that. Like Halloween is, because after a while, the hype from 2018 is going to die down a little bit, at least I hope. But then you have, so Candyman, I think would have been a perfect VOD release too, because that's a franchise that hasn't really been relevant since the 90s. Two of the three films that we have are all but trash. So that's easy to kind of come back and make a big splash on VOD, but especially Spiral. Like, I can't imagine that movie cost very much.
No.
And that franchise, I mean, excuse me, Saw fans, it's been on life support for quite a while. I mean, Saw wasn't like Saw since like Saw 4. And then they had their little reboot attempt with Jigsaw, which didn't really make a ton. I mean, it made a profit, but that's kind of the whole point of why these movies don't cost very much. Spiral to me made no sense to not be in VOD this month. And part of me is selfish because I kind of wish it would, so that I could get this review series over and get people off my fucking back. But but I do think Spiral would have been great for VOD because, like you said, especially in October, people want horror movies. I mean, how many? I can't tell you, scrolling through Facebook and Twitter right now, how many posts I see of people doing like 31 movies of October, and they're laying out their lists of movies they're going to watch. And I mean, people are watching Hubie Halloween for fuck's sake. And I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. I've heard mixed things, but you're a little lower than a mixed. But movies like that normally would come and go in an instant because it's Halloween themed, everybody's like, ooh, let me give it a shot. I mean, you got Disney Plus has their little Halloween collection where they've got Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town, and everything's like front and center. Amazon's doing the same thing. It's obvious to me. I'm like, one of you should jump on the fucking grenade, and it should be Spiral. I don't know of any other horror movies coming out that are like already ready to go down the pipe. Halloween, I can understand them not wanting to because I think they're hoping they're going to make more money than 2018. Time will tell, but they want to wait for that potential, record-breaking box office type deal. I don't think Spiral has a chance at that. I don't think Candyman has a chance at that, even if the reviews are awesome.
The way they're talking, though, this time next year, are we even going to be 100%? To break records, you need a wide open theater with people able to fill it 100%.
Absolutely.
And we're what, 30% we could fill them now?
It was at like 40% whenever I was going to the theaters a couple of times that they were limiting to. I mean, even when I bought my tickets to Lost Boys today, every single anytime that somebody has bought a row of seats, it skips 2 seats next to them on either side. So depending on the amount of people in each party, they lose 4 seats for every purchase. It's a third at least. So you got that. Then you just have whether or not people, even if they opened it up and said, fuck it, we don't care, 100% capacity, how many people are actually going to go? We don't know yet because our litmus test was not very good with Tenet.
I love how Tenet's like, we'll bring people back, and people are like, nah, we're okay.
Yeah, there's a lot with that one. I think there was parts we're going to kick the doors open, and I always envision it like, we're all stuck on an island, and savior, our salvation is right there. We just got to jump in the ocean and swim to it. And who's going to be the first one? And then fucking Tenet jumps in and says, fine, I'll go, and start swimming. And then just a shark just eats his ass. And we're all like, oh, we're good. We'll wait. So that's kind of how it went. I think they were expecting to take a little bit of a loss to be the first ones out there. And then, James Bond or Black Widow or somebody would kind of keep it, and it would slowly kind of go back up. But as soon as those numbers came out, everybody was like, nah.
Dude, Quiet Place too. Like, that's another one. Just put it out. Like, you got close to it. You screened it for some critics. Just push it out, man.
That's another one that I forgot that would be perfect for it. I mean, it made a good amount of money, but again, I don't know the exact numbers with VOD and what they keep and even what the best VOD release of all time has netted to studios, but those lower budget.
The fact that Trolls made 100-something million opening weekend is all you need to know. Like,
yeah. Sit down and shut the fuck up. Here's the next Troll. Here.
No chance that would have made that money in theaters.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to gamble a little bit and figure out what's going on.
Exactly. Well, let's look. You had put together this graphic with everything that has moved. So let's take a look at some of these movies. So 007, No Time to Die, that was the one that kind of busted open the doors for this last little stretch of everything delaying.
And that's moved like 3 times now, from like last November to March to June to November to April of 21. It's really been a lot.
Yeah, it's been funny because like they keep ramping up their marketing campaign and then they delay it. And then you don't hear anything about 007 for like 2 months. And then like I think they just debuted their music video and they had him go on like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. Yep. And then the next day they're like, nah, next year. So the only thing that's good about that is I'm trying my best to to watch through all of the old James Bond movies because this might be sacrilege, but I did not really grow up being a James Bond fanatic. But I have not seen any of the James Bond films pre-Pierce Brosnan, except for I've watched now the first 3 Sean Connery, the Dr. No, From Russia with Love, and Goldfinger a couple of months ago when I started ramping up. I was trying to watch them all so I could do a big ranking at the end. So I'm thankful for having another 5 or 6 months to get through all those movies because my God, they're difficult to get through if you don't have nostalgia. I'll just say that.
Right. Thank you, Ben. Batman got pushed back to 2022. Dune had a trailer for Christmas, and then they're like, you know what? We're coming out next October.
Yeah,
we had a trailer, and then within a week, they're like, never mind, it's coming out in a year.
We got a super chat. Pretty sure Candyman will come out in June next year since Jurassic World got delayed from that mid-June spot, and they're both Universal films.
That's
possibly. It's a good assumption. But yeah, that one hurt because we just got that badass trailer, and there's nothing that I hate worse than having something hype me up a lot and then finding out that there's years to wait. I had that problem a lot with The Last of Us Part 2, where they were like, "Here's your trailer," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, 3 years from now, you'll play the game. Oh my God. So then we talked about Candyman. That was one that I had a glimmer of hope that they would hang on to October and just try it and say, okay, we're going to be the only release in October. Sure. But they hauled ass. Halloween Kills. We've talked about that one ad nauseum. Black Widow. That was the other one that I figured people were saying they might release it to Disney Plus. I don't think they're going to do that with anything that has the Marvel name on it because that's $1 billion movie.
Plus, it's the first female-led Marvel superhero movie, so there's going to be a little bit of backlash if they do that. Why not?
I love how you just totally disregard Captain Marvel because I agree.
Firmly in mouth.
Maybe it's the first good female-led Marvel superhero. We'll see.
Yeah. The first that we're familiar with. I'm sorry.
Wonder Woman 84, holding on to December for dear life. We'll see.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the news. That's moving. There's no chance that's staying into December.
Yeah. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I actually forgot about that movie. But yeah, they did move that.
What happened. That's what happens. A bunch of these movies, you're like, oh yeah, that.
And Morbius, another one where I was like, oh, that was a thing for a minute when they released that trailer and everybody said, hey, Michael Keaton. And that was the only thing that everybody said. Yeah. So 2020, no more movies, no more new movies at all.
Yes. I understand, guys. I forgot Captain Marvel. It's okay. I flubbed. I'm owning it. I messed up.
Here comes the actuallys.
Yeah, there's like 30 of them.
Yeah.
What about Captain Marvel?
Yeah. Dennis brings up a good point that I was about to get into. If the movies stay at the 2021 dates, that year is going to be stacked. Venom 2, Fast 9, Jurassic World, so on and so on.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be weird for the next couple of years because basically the entire blockbuster slate for this year, I mean, we only got to February.
Yeah.
So basically the entire year, with the exception of the shit movies, Bad Boys, and Invisible Man, and Tenet kind of spliced in there in the middle, have all now had to pile on top of 2021's movies. That was already a pretty stacked year. And now those movies are going to have to pile onto 2022 and 2023. So there's going to be like this whole condensing. That's kind of what I was talking about that was getting on my nerves, where everybody was freaking out about Scream getting put in January. They were like, oh, they think it sucks, they're putting it in January. I'm like, where the fuck else are they going to put it? Like, there's nowhere else. They're like, okay, let's get out of the way of this, 15-month blockbuster run, and we'll just put this in January, and maybe we'll own a couple of months.
Yeah, the normal theater layout is just gone. Like, people are stacking weeks, and it's just, and people are like yours truly are a little beat up from 2020. People aren't going to be going out to movies the same way either. Even if it were back to normal, 10% of the country is just beat up financially. So a lot has changed about the landscape. Although worldwide seems to be okay. China is thriving. Tenet is a couple of 100 million worldwide. So if you don't mind releasing to other countries, go ahead. See, I would release it to theaters internationally and VOD at home. Make your money in Luxembourg and then get your VOD money here.
Yeah. They're gonna have to do something, man, because they haven't really done anything to be creative yet. I mean, Disney's like, hey, we'll just throw it on our Disney thing, and you don't get to keep it. And we'll see how that works out. It didn't seem to work out very well so far. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of movies do it and caused a shitstorm with NATO back in June, May, whenever Trolls came out, and then Bill and Ted was like, okay, we'll do both. I don't know how well that movie would have done anyway, to be honest.
That did well. They know what's funny about VOD, they don't have to release numbers, and they're not. Yeah. But they said it was worth it. So that's I would call that a B-rate movie, as offensive as that is to Bill and Ted fans.
No, I'm a Bill and Ted fan, and I agree. That's why I was like, I don't know how well it would have done anyway.
Yeah. So, why not? Why not Spiral? Why not Quiet Place? Yeah, you made 150 million the first time.
I'm kind of curious. I'm going to pull up the box office of the Saw franchise.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's been a while since they've done money. It's been a real while.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the numbers.com. I don't know if this is going to be totally accurate, but so Jigsaw, that was a $10 million budget. They walked away with 38 million box office, domestic and worldwide 104. So total around 150. So
and only 30 something at home. So
yeah, what do you think Spiral cost to make? I mean, a little bit more star power with Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, although I suspect Samuel L. Jackson is probably going to be in a one and done scene. I highly doubt that they spent more than 15 million on it. I mean, it's the most expensive Saw movie was Saw 3D at 17 million, and they made the first one for $1 million, and they made the second one for $5 million. I don't know. I don't know how much star power, how much arguing power Chris Rock has for his salary as an actor. I know this is kind of his movie because it's his idea, but I don't know what their budget is. But I mean, you can't tell me that they couldn't make $150 million on VOD if Trolls made $100 million in a weekend.
Sure. And Dennis in Denmark says they have record-breaking movies at cinemas. Skulder in Estonia says Tenet broke records there. So we have worldwide showing that, people are going worldwide. So, let's eat shit here at home and watch movies at home, and go ahead, do your theatrical thing worldwide. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know they're afraid of pirating and stuff like that too, but you can't tell me if they dump some. If they can't tell me that there's not a way that they can monitor that a little bit more. With all apologies to your uncle, they could definitely keep some better eyes on them. Brian Lomax, they should just stream movies directly into my brain. I'd be happy with that. Well, you are in luck, Brian, because Critters Attack 2 is coming directly to Brian VOD. They should stream The Faculty, eh, Brian? Mother Mayhem. So yeah, I just don't know. I don't see how there's not a way that they can do this. Maybe they're already thinking of it. Maybe they're just trying to get the details worked out, and they're going to wait until 2021 to try to launch this thing. But I mean, I just recently started getting VOD screeners through Netflix and Amazon and stuff. That's a whole new experience to me. And that, I mean, they email you a code for Amazon, and you have an exclusive little link to go look at it. And it says right across the top your fucking email and all your information in case you try to pirate it. Of course, you could just blur that, but I'm sure there's digital signatures that they could add to stuff like that. Netflix seems even more tight knit, where they just give you, they put this preview content on your actual Netflix app to where you just scroll down and there's preview content and only you can watch it. And you have to type in a special code that they give you every single time you watch it. It seems pretty tight knit to where I don't see how, if they just put a little extra security, that would even be an issue. But then again, I'm not a cyber security guy, so I'm just kind of talking out my ass. Spiral's budget is $40 million, according to Ryan. Whoa! God. Why would they spend that much money? If that's correct, that's more than double the most expensive Saw movie. So that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
but they could still. You don't have to pay for the theater's share. If they did it to VOD, you could still triple your fucking production budget in a weekend.
You're not splitting your. I mean, VOD, you're splitting some, but you're getting your money. You're getting most of your money.
Yeah, and movies like that. I mean, I just don't see why they can't push somebody else in the fucking water. You know what I mean? Like, it just.
I mean, it's strange. Like, sure, we're getting VOD stuff. It's not like we're not, but there's nothing like I would call everything we're getting like C grade, D grade.
Yeah.
That comedy that was like Groundhog Day was interesting, with what's his face from SNL and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Andy Samberg. Palm Springs, I think it was called. That was neat. That was a home movie. There's some movies that just, you watch at home.
The King of Staten Island, I think, did that come straight to VOD? Yeah, that was another one that I wouldn't go to the theater to see, but I was like, hey, I'll just casually throw this on. Hey, Bill Burr, look at
that. Yeah, there needs to be, like, the indie darlings should be thriving right now, and even they're just
hanging out.
Yeah.
You get movies like The Rental, and everybody's like, best of the year. And I'm like, fuck you. No, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I thought about that too. All the weird movies that kind of just trickle out that all of us see, and we're like, hey, what's this thing? And why haven't we seen more of those on VOD? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Studios just seem to be kind of like this right now, like waiting.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We need to make all the money.
Yeah, I don't know. We were talking back whenever Universal was kind of causing all those stirs about them doing like a dual thing, like go to the theater and VOD in 2 weeks, or go to the theater and then you get this exclusive code here to stream it at home. Or
that's Universal signed that deal. Universal kind of was being, they were the first to say, you know what, fuck it, we're going to release it to VOD. And the theater company was like, you can't do that. And Universal's like, we've been trying to do it because you keep feeding Disney bullshit, and they wouldn't. If you remember, AMC blocked Universal releases back when AMC thought movies were coming out. So they had a bit of an agreement, and Universal has their date pushed up, and now it's 17 days. So it only has to be 17 days in theaters before Universal could put movies on VOD or
for AMC. The rest of the people haven't agreed to that yet. But yeah, I remember when that came out, that was the big, whenever we were still kind of feeling like it was going to be over in a couple of weeks. We're not playing your movies anymore. Well, you got a year and a half to decide. So
oh no.
Yeah. Tom, I just read the budget for Spider was $20 million. That sounds more accurate. I'm not going to say that you're wrong, or the previous number was wrong, but that sounds more like IMDb says estimated $40 million. Okay, well, I don't fucking know.
Studios are notoriously stingy with horror. Like,
especially Saw, and then Blumhouse kind of came after that with Paranormal and a couple other franchises where it became kind of the thing where it's like, here's $2 million, go make your movie.
I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna make money no matter what. This failed. It made $5 million. I made $3 million. Still okay.
Exactly. I'm going to do something like one of the first things that I really want to do whenever I get my house is I want to buy one of those big ass projection screens that I keep seeing on like Facebook advertisements. And I'm just going to start doing movie theater shit at home. Like, all right, come on, kids. We're watching Candyman outside. It's, I don't know. I'm scared for the theaters because I don't want to lose the theater experience. I mean, if the back end, like you were saying, is just that AMC and Regal and Cinemark and everybody are just going to close the doors, and then a year from then they're going to be rebranded as Universal Theaters and Disney Theaters, then I mean that sucks for the business owners. But as long as the theaters are still open, I guess I'll be happy.
And somebody brought it up: the popcorn's going to be cheaper because they don't have to make that money.
Yeah.
Because theaters, as we know it now, are essentially they're concession stands. They don't give a fuck about what's going on on the screen.
Oh yeah, I think there was
on the food.
Yeah, there was somebody. It might have been the guy who's the head of NATO who said something along the lines of, "We're not in the movie business; we're in the candy business." And that is the truth. That's why you see half the time in theaters anymore. I don't know about you; they don't even put the prices for the combos. They just say, "Combo, this is what you get," and then you tell them, and then they dump the popcorn, they pour the drinks, and they're like, yeah, exactly. You're like, what?
It's just popcorn and soda. It's syrup and corn.
Oh man.
Lindsay of My 2 Cents of Nonsense said that don't be surprised if they start doing like merch and shit in theaters. Like once you get like a Disney theater, they'll sell like merch to perhaps even the movie that they're showing at that time, or just Marvel shit. Like that's a big step. Theater going as you know it, at least by 2022, will change. It's going to change. I mean, we used to go to arcades to play video games. Find me an arcade right now.
Yeah, no shit. I thought about that a couple of months ago. I was like, is there an arcade around here? That sounds fun. Isn't that fun? We'll go to an arcade. That'll be fun. And then you look at it and you're like, oh. They have Cruisin' San Diego at the movie theater, and there's a claw machine at Target. It's
that dive bar's got a pinball machine if you want to do that.
Exactly. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna change, man. It's gonna change. I feel like this whole year has been us like just looking at like what's gonna be different when we can come outside again. It's insane. Dave and Buster's. Okay, yeah, we stand corrected. There's one arcade left in America. Dave and Buster's.
Oh yeah, that's kind of.
I went to a Dave and Buster's one time, and maybe it was just the time of day that I went. It was whenever we went to Disney with the kids for the first time, and it was the Saturday that we were there, and we went to Dave and Buster's because it was raining, so Disney closed down for the rest of the day until it stopped raining again. And that place was so insane, slam packed, busy that I could not enjoy myself. I was just getting more and more pissed. And you have to buy all the tickets on this little card, and then you swipe the card. And I had spent like $150 getting like 3 or 4 cards for everybody to play, and we might have spent 30 of that and left. I still have the cards because every game that I wanted to play had a line of like 6 people there. And the dude who was on it was like, you could tell he was there like every weekend. He's like, I still got like 80 hours until I die, just so you guys know. And it was ridiculous. Cool place. You get to sit down. It's like a restaurant and everything. But yeah, my one experience there was like, okay, I'm going to come on like a Wednesday night at like 4.
They have like a bowling alley in there too, right?
It sounds right. They have a lot of shit. It was a multi-floored Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, it's just like shit to do. The building.
Exactly.
Welcome to Shit to Do. How can I help you? I need shit to do. Here's money.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. I'm. Is Scream? Is it 2021 January or was that 2022 January? 22. Okay, never mind. Okay, I was thinking how could they could film it that quickly, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know when the month is where it feels like if we're not open by this time, then we're in big trouble. Like maybe March. If we're closing in on May when these things are supposed to start kicking off again and we're still not open, then it's going to be like, fucking Christ, dude, what's going on?
My thought process is you keep bumping things back. Whenever we get started, movies better kick fucking ass for like months straight because, all right, you made us wait a year and a half for this fucking thing. It better be worth it.
Mm-hmm. How much of a bitch would that be if like the first 3 or 4 big movies that everybody comes out to are just this huge kick in the nuts disappointment?
Yeah, and you're just like, ugh, 2.5 years for that? Thanks.
Oh man, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. I kind of I hope they figure something else out. That's about all I can say. I don't know. Yeah. It's getting weird. I feel like there's this huge piece of my life and your life, as we talk about movies so much, that's just been gone. And it's just I've been doing a lot. I do a lot more older stuff anyway, so like my channel hasn't suffered necessarily, but like I started thinking about it and I'm like, why does it just feel like life just is different? And it's like, because usually you kind of like that movie theater releases is kind of like how you timeline your life if you're a movie fanatic.
Exactly.
And I look back and I'm like, I haven't really seen shit since Invisible Man. What's going on? Like usually you go like, all right, oh yeah, this is Avengers month, this is Halloween month, and you kind of go off of that. We just don't have that anymore.
Our theater experiences this year were The Grudge and Invisible Man. That was it for 2020.
Jesus Christ, The Grudge.
Yeah, no, that was bad. That was really bad.
Yes. Blake, what's up, Blake?
Hey, Blake.
What else has been going on, man? Besides everything running away from us. Exactly.
Well, VOD, like there's, I know you've been watching a bunch of the Blumhouse stuff.
Yeah.
I just watched 2 of the new Netflix movies. One was not good. Hubie Halloween is Adam Sandler. I don't know. This must be the
revenge
payback
movie.
Yeah, this is the fuck you for Uncut Gems movie, I guess. And Vampires vs. the Bronx, which it seemed like it was homaging a bunch of vampire movies while feeling both Monster Squad meets Lost Boys meets Attack the Block. It's
throwing out some big dick names there.
Yeah, it's not really any of them. It just feels like them in a blender, and they homage horror movies quite respectfully.
What if Doolittle won Best VFX at the Oscars?
It's possible.
I got a feeling that they won't even do the Oscars. I mean, what Invisible Man, Best Picture. There you go. I mean, it's just, what is there to even talk about?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Did the new Friday the 13th box set make the 10 box collection go down to $5 yet? No. That thing will never lose its value. I just missed the mark on that one whenever that came out. I didn't really buy it because I wasn't really a Friday the 13th fan at all. I hadn't seen quite a few of them. And then by the time I started getting familiar with the franchise, I was like, I need to just get that fucking box set that I missed. And it was like, oh, it's $800 on eBay.
Small financing for it. I see. Yeah, well, like the other thing is I've been wanting to catch up with movies in October, but I have this obligation where I'm like, should I watch Bride of Frankenstein for the first time ever? No, I'll watch Critters 3.
I just finished Critters 4 before we went live.
Oh.
Have you seen it yet?
No.
I don't know if I would say it's worse than 3 because Critters actually have a small amount of charm in space because they came from space.
Sure.
But Brian's
in deep trouble. I'm sorry.
You are never getting a vote in our franchises ever again. No, but in all seriousness, this 31 on 31 has been a funny ride because usually, at least for me, I know Brian would disagree because he really dislikes a lot of the Friday the 13th, really dislikes all the Texas Chainsaw movies. This year has been a very difficult year for putting together this ranking because usually when I come in, I've already seen all the movies. I already have my pre-established kind of ideas. I'll do a little rough draft list of my ranking, and then I'll rewatch the ones that I need to rewatch, and maybe one or two of them might shift a little bit, but sometimes not even that. Sometimes I'll just walk in and I know exactly what my list is going to be. I did my like rough draft list of this one, and I had not seen any of the Critters before, so those were question marks. I haven't seen Jaws 3 or 4 since I was a kid, and I have no memory of them, so those might as well be first-time watches. Those are question marks. And usually I walk in knowing confidently what my number 1 is going to be and what my 31 is going to be. And this year I've got like a 6-way tie for 31. And I'm like,
yeah.
and even on my draft list, I got like 15 movies that are shit. And then 15 movies that are like best of all time.
I'll do you one better. I was writing it down and I got to 7. And then I was like, I have the top 7. Now what?
Yeah, it's going to be
interesting.
Well,
Critters is by far and away better than Friday the 13th. Please. I'm watching DiCaprio. I'm like, I know you can do better. What are you doing in this? No,
I don't want to see this era. No. Yeah. Whenever we get to our little autop stream list tally post-mortem thing, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun craziness. We're giving Brian shit too because he was talking about Critters, and we've been playing it up a little bit. Like the first 2 movies, I was playing it up. I was just like, oh, what was that? and messaging him just to kind of get under his skin. But then Sean messaged me out of nowhere. He's like, why do there have to be 5 Critters movies? I was like, I know. Oh man. So yeah. This is definitely one of those franchises that requires nostalgia.
Yeah, and that fucking Charlie dude, like after the second one, you don't need him anymore. What?
Well, he's in 4. He's in 4.
He's in 3 too.
And apparently Dee Wallace is in the Netflix one, but they had to change her name for rights, so she's the same character, but not. We'll find out. I haven't had the strength for that one yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 and 4 were interesting. I have memories of watching Critters 3 in pieces, like back in the day on like Cinemax or something like that when I was like 10. And I was like, hey, Leo DiCaprio, that's kind of cool. Oh, there's monsters. But I didn't remember shit about it. And then I watched it and I was
there's
like,
scenes where I could tell he's trying. Like all the other kids are just like stone faced and he's like, trying to emote while people are saying things. And it's just like, Yeah, you could tell how you became somebody, but you're wasting it. You're just wasting it here.
Asian movie enthusiast. Phobia 2 is a neat horror anthology that is currently on Netflix. It's worth watching. Okay.
If you like really fucked up shit, classic Cronenberg shit, Possessor just recently came out. Whoa, that's
Is it on VOD now?
I think so. If you'd like, I can have my uncle call you.
Yeah, he has my number.
Yeah.
I looked for it on VOD after I started seeing people's reactions to it, and I was like, "Where's this fucking thing?"
Yeah.
And I don't. It might be playing at some random theater. It's not playing at my theater. But yeah, I've been curious about that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gnarly. It's classic Cronenberg, but it's his son. So I guess he let his kid watch his movies and taught him everything he knows.
There's two things I always think about when I think about David Cronenberg now. One of them is The Fly, and the other one is your Horror Needs a Hero Mateys segment with all the car crashes. So I actually had an idea, which I probably will do without even reminding you of it, is to take a clip of that car crash thing and just keep it on standby. So when one of us fucking airbag, I can just play that. Oh man.
Yeah. No, not a history of violence, like 80s Cronenberg, like Videodrome, stuff like that. That era. Scanners, right? Yeah.
That shit.
Yeah.
I used that clip on for like a GIF or something whenever a guy at work was playing country music, and it was like old 90s country, and I pressed that little GIF and put it on Facebook, and it was like the guys are like, he's over here like doing this like Ironside, and the other guy's like. Oh man.
Yeah, Cronenberg was in Jason X, that's right.
Yep, he got skewered in seconds. Oh man.
Anything good that you've been watching on VOD?
Haunting of Bly Manor was good. I won't say it was as good as Hill House because I prefer more traditional haunted house. Bly Manor is much more romantic love story with some, the haunting is much more their past, the dark side of love, stuff like that. There's some ghosts in there, but it's different. Mm-hmm. So that comes out today for everybody to watch. If you're interested in that, I got to check that out one early. It's good. Mm-hmm. I did like the second movie from this Welcome to the Blumhouse called Black Box. That one's worth checking out. I wasn't sure. I didn't realize they were putting them out to Amazon Prime, so they're actually free to watch if you have Amazon. So that's good. I mean, it's worth the price of admission, right? Sure. Black Box is worth your money. The Lie is absolutely not. So I would check that one out. Cool little simple sci-fi movie. It feels like it should have been a horror short, but it's not like a painful 90 minutes. It's good. And then I've really just been watching Dexter, trying to get caught back up on that so that I can do my review series with Lindsay. So I haven't really seen a whole lot of VOD movies aside from the stuff that I've been getting screeners for.
I'd love to watch old good stuff, but I waited way too long for 31 and
I'm not binging. I was actually airing Sean on that too. He was talking about that, and I was like, just don't binge. Don't binge series that you're having some pain with, because I watched Critters, and then a week later watched Critters 2, and then a week later watched Critters 3, and then a week later watched Critters 4. I did make the mistake of watching Critters 3 and then immediately following it up with Gremlins 2. That didn't fare well for Gremlins 2. But
they're the same. There's similar types of silliness.
Yeah, I forgot why I didn't like that movie even as a kid. And then I watched it and went, oh, like I thought it was weird that Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck were introducing the movie. And I was like, why'd they leave this in the Blu-ray? And then I watched the movie and go, oh, well, it's a Looney Tunes cartoon. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I watched the 2011 Thing in between a couple of Critter showings. And
That went up the list.
My mind has changed. Is what I can say about the standing of The Thing 2011. It's not that bad.
I've always said that movie, the movie itself, minus the CGI, is actually really good. Like, they have good characters, they have a good story going on. I like the whole element about like the fillings and the piercings as being like this clue. I thought that was kind of creative. But that CGI can go fuck itself. It's like, it's not even the fact that it is CGI, which is just blasphemy enough, but it's horrendous CGI. I've only seen the movie twice. I watched it in theaters, was extremely pissed at the theater. I watched it at home last year when I was planning on reviewing The Thing and The Thing prequel. Didn't get around to it, and so this will be my third time watching it. It'll end up somewhere in the middle, just below the middle of my list, just because of how bad some of the shit is below it. But yeah, that's a movie that if there was a practical effects cut somewhere, that movie would instantly go up like a 1.5 stars. But yeah,
Skyman $4.99. The Happening is the best bad horror movie unintentional comedy ever. Existenz is a good underrated Cronenberg movie. Shit, that came out in 99. I flew past that in April.
I've never seen Existenz. I've never heard of it, but The Happening, I agree, is one of the best unintentional comedies ever. I love that movie because I laughed my ass off through the entire thing. Yeah, he was talking to a plant and shit, and planning on killing me in my sleep. No, like stuff like that. It's just like, how is this real?
Yeah.
You got the two kids that are acting like, open the door, bitch, and then he just gets fucking blown away. It's like, yes, that's awesome. If you watch that movie with the intention of laughing your ass off at it, it instantly goes up 2 stars. I'm telling you.
M. Night takes himself a little way too seriously.
I have a nostalgic laugh that kills me every single time in that movie too, because I actually saw that movie in theaters with my best friend from high school, who's still one of my very best friends, and his girlfriend at the time. And there's a scene in the movie where everybody's piled into this diner and they're looking at the news, and then the news basically says, you're all fucked. And then they turn around to all leave. And when they open the door, 2 people are already in this red sedan, and they just fucking haul ass down the road. And it looked identical to a car that I drove in high school. So when I was in theaters and that door opened and the car just fucking flies out of the parking lot, my best friend was like, that's me and Cody. And I just laughed my ass off, because it was just, every time I watch that movie, I get to that scene and I just smile waiting for it. And I say it to myself, like, it's me and Cody. And it just cracks me up because it looked exactly like a car. And that's exactly what me and my buddy would do if it was that situation. People are still looking at the news, but like, getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So
another one from CBMF Production.
Oh, there it is. Are you both going to watch Borat 2 and The Collected when they drop in VOD later this year? I have not heard anything official about The Collected, but yes, I will be watching the shit out of that. Borat 2, I never saw the first one. Never really had interest in the first one. Don't really have interest in this one for the same reason. It's not really my type of movie.
I'm all over Borat. I'm intrigued to. I hope he just rips America a new asshole. Like, seriously, we deserve it.
I don't even really know what the movies are. Is it just like spoof? Is it just satire? I mean,
it's like simulated reality. It's like a simulated documentary where he goes around in character and talks to people of America, and we're stupid. And you know, if you look at it through the lens of a dumb tourist, we're actually the dumb ones. It's funny. He puts the lens on just how silly we are. And in 2020, I can only imagine. Although The Collected, I have no idea what that is.
The Collector 3.
Oh, well then, yes, I'm quite fired up about that. That's coming this year.
I feel like it was supposed to, but I haven't really seen anything from it since they said that it was coming, and they released a couple of stills. I have not seen it. I'm kind of curious to look that up actually while we're talking. But yeah, if that's true that it's going to be coming this year to VOD, then yes, that's suddenly my most anticipated movie of 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I have not heard anything about that. So this might be a collected VOD, and I don't see jack shit. Let me see. The collected 2020.
Have you had the chance to watch any of the movies from the new Friday the 13th box set?
No. Have you?
No.
I love you.
Here it is. Look at it. Yeah.
It says June 28th, 2020 as the updated release date. So yeah, I don't see anything official, but then again, I don't want to spend too much time searching that. So yeah, I don't know. If anybody can send me a link of something official saying that's coming this year, that would be awesome. Other than that, I think that's just one of those movies that's going to be sitting on the shelf for a bit. But that's another one that would be perfect for VOD, because that wouldn't have made a ton of money anyway. Yeah, the second one didn't make a lot.
Doesn't have a solid following.
I mean, you could release that. You could get Shudder or somebody to just buy that.
Yep.
Yep. Let's see. But no, I have not had a chance to watch any of the Friday the 13th movies. I probably won't for a while with moving and 31 on 31. I have been seeing Facebook, like people just releasing clips of this shit that I'm not a Friday the 13th fanatic as it is. So this stuff didn't excite me as much. I'm just a collector whore and I'm a movie whore. So I wanted the whole thing and I was going to have it regardless. But this like uncovered footage from Friday 2 that everybody's been getting boners about, like the extended kills or the uncut footage. Apparently it's VHS quality and there's no sound. That does not excite me at all. I'm sorry. That's not something that I would buy even a standalone Blu-ray to check out. Like I've seen the clips of Alice's extended death where he sticks the screwdriver or the ice pick in her head. And then she turns to the side and you see the ice pick like out her nose and she's like, and then the scene ends, but there's no sound. And I'm like, if I'm going to get excited about this, it has to be quality. There has to be sound for fuck sure. But it has to be spliced back into the movie. You know what I mean? Where I can enjoy it with the movie. So, no.
Well, they're not going to go back and treat that and dump
yeah, I don't think they had enough time. I think they found it like a month before they were getting ready to release it. They were like, hey, we got it. We got it.
Just burn it to a USB file and put it on disc. What the fuck?
Yep, exactly. They filmed it with a fucking cell phone and like put it we forgot the sound. Fuck it.
just put it in. We don't have time.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know when. I kind of want to do another commentary. I haven't done a commentary in a while. You and I will have to talk about that one, especially if it's Friday the 13th. Maybe when I get settled in this new house towards the end of October, we'll do a commentary on.
As long as I have it, yeah.
A New Beginning or something.
Absolutely down.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
How about The Fat Man with Mel Gibson? I haven't watched the trailer yet. Have you?
No.
I'm that's a movie that I think I don't want to watch the trailer and just walk in. Do you guys like the Cloverfield films? I liked the first one. I really liked 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I did not like Cloverfield Paradox at all.
That's exactly what I have to say. I think 10 Cloverfield Lane's the best of the three.
Absolutely, by a landslide.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious if they're going to do any more of those. That was another one that was weird, where they kept talking about the Cloverfield Paradox for a while, and they just randomly one night they're like, after the game, this goes on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What the fuck, Cloverfield? Brian and I did a commentary for the original Cloverfield, and it doesn't age well. It on a second viewing, it's kind of not as good as the first time.
I'm not really a found footage fan to begin with, but there's select few that I really like. I still love what the hell's the superhero one? Shit. I'm blanking on it. Josh Trank.
Fantastic Four.
No. It's the one with Michael B. Jordan's in that one too. The found footage one where Chronicle. It was sitting there. I kept wanting to say Collateral, and I'm like, maybe that's a C word. Chronicle. I really like The Last Exorcism. That's one that not a whole lot of people like, where the pastor's going around trying to prove that exorcisms are bullshit, and then he finds a chick that's really fucked up. That one's good. That might be the end of the list. I feel like there's one other that I like, but it kind of became this trend for a while there. Remember when, like, for like 2 or 3 years, every January, February horror film was found footage with horror storyline A. So yeah, Cloverfield was kind of in that era where found footage was just like, oh, can we no more of these, please?
Yeah.
Blair Witch Project. Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
When people say, like, what's a hailed movie that you think's overrated? That's always one of my first answers.
And then Cannibal Holocaust before that.
James Wan versus John Carpenter. I don't even know how to approach that conversation.
James Wan hasn't made enough yet.
Yeah, James Wan, I would say that James Wan has not made a bad movie yet. And I can definitely pick out John Carpenter movies that are bad. But then again, John Carpenter movies have been around since the 70s. So.
Plus, they never threw Aquaman money at John Carpenter like they did James Wan.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. They're both awesome horror directors. John Carpenter would be on my horror director Mount Rushmore. James Wan, maybe by the end of his career, will be. I wouldn't put him there yet.
The fuck you laughing at? Shut up over there. Sorry.
Speaking of neighbors. He was giving that message for me. I'm sorry.
That was Cody who said that. Trying to run a show here for Pete's sake. She's just giggling like a little 5-year-old over there. I'm like, what are you doing?
Stop watching Die Hard. It's October.
I told you not to put Bane on when I'm streaming.
Oh, man. John Carpenter 30 plus years ago, James Wan now. That's fair.
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
I feel like John Carpenter should come back with something. And that's a director that I feel like, I mean, I know he's older, he's doing scores, he's helping out with Halloween, but if they threw some good money at him and he had a good script, if he could just come back and do like one more little statement, like, all right, bitch, this is what my swan song, I think that would be pretty cool. His last movie was what, the Ward with Miss Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Miss Son might be going to prison soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, he did an episode of Masters of Horror. The title of it is Cigarette Burns, with the dude from Walking Dead, the motorcycle. What the fuck's his name?
Daryl Dixon.
Daryl Dick, whatever the fuck his name is.
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus, thank you. That was really good. 50 minutes, but it was really, really good. About a guy who has to chase down this haunted film, and turns out that it's pretty fucking haunted. That's the last thing I remember seeing John Carpenter's.
It's a copy of Critters 3. No! Do you hate all Halloween fans or just the ones who were rude? Because I'm a Halloween fan, but I loved your reviews, and I think you were very fair with your opinions in review. All of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Just the sycophants.
Yeah, just the sycophants, just the douchebags, just the ones that are like, oh, you don't think this is the greatest thing ever? Well, fuck you. You're an idiot. Those ones.
Yeah. Like both of us have our separate series, but we both acknowledge that they're not perfect.
That's the thing. And you know what? And I don't know if it's just because Friday and Nightmare aren't necessarily like the thing right now.
Yeah.
But I've never had experiences with Friday fans that don't acknowledge the flaws. And I've never had experiences with Nightmare fans, even Chucky fans. I've never had any experience with any major horror slasher franchise that act like shit's perfect except for Halloween.
Yeah. Hi, Busta Rhymes called. He said, take it the fuck easy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing I don't get. Like, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Child's Play. Sure. I will be the first person to tell you that half of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is garbage. Mm-hmm. And I will be the first person, if a new movie comes out, to say, fuck that. That is not up to par. I'm not even acknowledging that shit. And it just seems like that's not quite the medicine that's going around in that particular camp.
It seems like 6 out of 10 Halloween fans are a little fucking loopy.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, the loudest ones might just be the minority, but fuck are they loud.
Fuck, you're right, Lindsay. Boondock Saints, son of a bitch. Yeah, Norman Reedus is in Boondock Saints as well. I'm sorry.
What's his character's name? Exactly.
I don't acknowledge the first Friday. What? Oh, really?
Yes, he absolutely does. I can tell you that. I'd be the first person to call bullshit if he didn't. But yeah,
it's dark as fuck.
I remember having the live stream with Vince DeSanti where he was defending certain things about the first Friday, and CP was in the chat going "woof," like. So yeah.
Yeah, the first Friday isn't perfect. It's a rip-off of Halloween. They could have used a light or two on set.
I know for a fact you and I have agreed and talked that it may be the worst final girl of a lot of those movies.
Terrible.
Yeah. What is your views on the Demolition Man sequel that's happening? Is it happening? That's my thoughts. I mean, it seems like every other time you hear Stallone talk, he's talking about something maybe happening with something of his older 80s, 90s characters. And until I see production stills of them filming this fucking thing, I would not put any eggs in that basket. I love Demolition Man. I think it's actually hilarious how some of that shit has kind of come true. And I think it's an absolutely blast of a movie. I don't think it needs a sequel. I don't know what you would do with a sequel. I would watch it in a second, but I don't think that one's happening. I'll believe it when I see it.
Put Wesley Snipes in Blade. How about that? That seems fine. Wesley Snipes can act. He's doing okay.
I'd like to see Wesley Snipes be the villain in the new Blade film.
Oh, good.
Make him Dracula or someone.
Yeah.
Stallone or Schwarzenegger? I will say undoubtedly Stallone is the better actor of the two. And better writer, obviously, but that's kind of like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Schwarzenegger has more films that are in my favorites of all time.
Yep.
I was doing my top 10 Schwarzenegger movies and I was like, fuck, I could do a top 15 and this shit will still be stacked. If I did a top 10 Stallone, there would be a lot of Rocky and a couple Rambo and then a few would trickle in.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger, you got different properties too. You have like a Total Recall, which is its own little thing. Predator, he was only in one Predator. True Lies, fucking incredible movie. He's got his obviously he has his Terminator movies, but he has these standalones that are really good. I don't think Stallone has I don't think Cobra is that good.
I like Cobra. I love Tango and Cash. I love Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. I'll give you that.
But I'm with you. I struggle to think of standalone Stallone movies that are like
Last Action Hero.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. That are like the shit. But Schwarzenegger, I could talk for half an hour. So yeah, that's where I would stack those two against each other.
Thoughts on Walking Dead finally ending? I tapped out.
It's not. I mean, they said The Walking Dead coming to its series finale on this date. And then the next year, we're going to have our Norman Reedus and girlfriend fucking side character. I made a joke. I did a tweet that day. I said, Breaking Bad finally ending this date. Walt and Jesse's side story starting this day. And it's like they just don't know when to quit with that. I have heard a lot of people say that the last season and this season are like a huge step up since like 4 or 5 seasons. But I just don't have the strength to go back and sit through them.
I tapped out a couple of seasons ago.
Dude, the first season we had Negan was it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I had been on life support with that series for a long time. I was the biggest fan the first couple seasons. I actually still think season 2 is probably their best season.
Thank you. Everybody shits on that season.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I love it. The whole thing with Shane and everything. I loved season 2, and season 1 was great, even though it was only like 5 episodes, 6 episodes. Season 3, I thought was disappointing when it first came out. That was the first one where they got that 16 episode order, and it was about the governor, but they neutered the ending of the season from the comic books, and they just extended it out till the next season, which was the first sign of many things of that nature to come.
My ex-wife read the books, and she's like, "Oh, the prison. Wait to the like every time she was like, "Oh, the governor. Oh, the prison." And I'm like,
dude,
what the fuck? You keep hyping this shit. I don't give a fuck.
I read not all of them, but I read a lot of the comics after watching the show. And the show, as violent and as crazy as it might have gotten, especially for the time, it doesn't hold a fucking candle to how dark and brutal things are in the comics. Like in the whole governor thing, like when the governor storms the prison at the end of season 3, in the book, everybody hauls ass out of the prison. The governor gets killed, and what the fuck's the main guy's name? Rick's wife gets shot holding the baby, and the bullet goes through the baby too.
Oh,
like all this shit happens in like a couple of pages, and you're like, what the fuck? And then in the TV show, what do? They scare the governor away, and then the governor comes back 8 episodes later in season 4. And it's like, it was so infuriating how much that show would just blackmail you as a viewer to come back without actually giving you a satisfying ending to the story. Like every single season, they would rarely even wrap up the overall theme of that season and then just trickle something to tease you till next season. It was always like, you get 90% of the story, fuck you, come back next year.
Yeah.
And when they did that with Negan, whenever they built it up all season long about who's he going to kill? Who's he going to kill? Who's going to get the bat? And then you get to that episode and they fucking cut to black. I was literally pissed off storming around my apartment when that happened. I was so fucking mad. I've never been so infuriated by a season finale than that episode. And I was almost done with the show. Then they came back with the premiere of what should have been the finale, and they showed who died. And that finale was just so crazy. I was like, damn. All right, I'm back. I'm back for one more season. And that whole season after that episode where they killed the 2 people with the bat, nothing. The whole season, nothing. Standalone episodes of characters we don't give a fuck about.
Dude, what about YouTube for the period in between the season finale and the season, the next season? It was people theorizing and showing you the angles of, here, it's got to be this person. And here's the camera angles, and it's got to be this person because he stops here. And just like, guys.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They're just going to pick somebody. Yeah, so that season, after I watched all season and just absolutely nothing happened, I was done. I was done after that, and I have not watched a single episode since. Then the season after that supposedly was dog shit, and maybe one more, and then everybody was like, "Oh, this season's really good again," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I'll have to watch 2 seasons of shit to catch up."
Last thing I remember seeing was a tiger, and I was like, "Nope, done."
Yeah, that was where the tiger comes out of nowhere and like kills. It jumps past Negan to kill random guy, and it was like, "Fuck this show, man." So yeah, and then they had the episode where Rick finally dies, and then they show later on that he's just in a helicopter and he's going to go on to do a couple movies, and it's like, you don't have the balls to kill anybody anymore. Like, as far as like have some real implications. Apparently, maybe they do in a couple seasons that I haven't seen. Maybe some major people die, but I don't fucking care. Jeff Harris, do you guys think Thomas Jane is an underrated actor? Love his Punisher. Would be cool if he made a cameo in the multiverse, but I doubt it. Yeah, you'll never see him play the Punisher again, but he is my favorite Punisher. So I would say that. I do think he's a really good actor. I don't know if I would call him underrated. He's just never really been a big blockbuster guy, or never really see him in too much.
He's a good side character. He's good in Scott Pilgrim as the vegan police.
Yeah, smoking eggs, bitch.
He's good in Boogie Nights too, as their third wheel.
Yeah, he's good in that. 1922 that came out a year or two ago was good with him in it. A little Stephen King Netflix movie. But yeah, I love his Punisher movie. Yeah, I agree. Thomas Jane is my least favorite Punisher. Well, that's you, Dennis. Aaron Anderson, watched the first Friday the 13th at the theater the other day. Definitely cool to see it on the big screen. I think they should re-show the entire series in theaters.
Oh, preach. I'm still not going to the theater right now, but that is pretty badass.
Yeah, that would be neat. I don't know if I would go, but that would be neat.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I didn't miss any. All right. Sir, you missed my super chat. Okay. Let me go. Let me scroll. There it is. Thoughts on Cliffhanger and Daylight? Love them. I have not seen Cliffhanger in quite a few years, but I always liked it. Daylight, I've never seen.
Daylight is he's in a tunnel, and they get something happens at both ends of the tunnel that they're stuck in a tunnel.
And, he has to save the day.
Yeah, he's not one of his stronger films. Forgettable, as you can tell, but it was okay. It was okay.
Evil Alex, Copland is great. Copland is the shit.
Yeah,
that is a.
Oh, now everybody's bringing up the. That
didn't sound very enthusiastic. Yeah.
I'm just noticing that these are all Stallone movies now.
Yes, yeah. I would give Copland a very, very, very good review. I think that's a underrated movie and a very different Stallone than most people would expect. Did I have another super chat? Whoops, did I miss one? No, I didn't. Okay. Did you know that the Punisher has over 46,000 kills under his belt? Ridiculous.
Jesus.
Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah. Tell him to catch up with COVID.
Yeah, no shit. Better character arc, Tony Stark or Logan Wolverine?
Oh, Tony Stark.
That was a very easy answer for you.
Dude, Endgame alone is such a beautiful polish to Tony Stark's character.
Tony Stark probably has more of an arc because he has from the point that he starts to the point that he ends, he has a big change.
That's fair.
And Logan is always kind of the same character to a degree. Wolverine, Logan, the performance by Hugh Jackman, I probably hold that in a little higher regard just because I love that character so much. But yeah, Tony Stark, it's a good question. I mean, let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, when he's with his dad in Endgame, I got choked up. I was like, yeah, all right. He doesn't want to leave his father.
Thoughts on Exorcist 3 and The Boys? Exorcist 3 I have not seen in a long time, but I've always thought it was a really good sequel. I think it's underrated because nobody ever talks about it. They always talk about the first one. The Boys, I liked season 1 a lot. I have not watched any of season 2 yet. I know it just finally released the last episode today, so before long I'll get through that. I was trying to get an early screening for that because everybody and their fucking mother around me seemed to already have it. And that was the first thing that I tried to get screeners for here recently. But for whatever reason, I had emailed and kept getting the runaround. And then they finally sent me 3 episodes. And I was like, I'm not reviewing every episode of this season. I'm sorry. That's not what I asked for. So I mean, not to sound like an ungrateful dick, but when everybody and their mother's reviewing the whole season and you give me 3 episodes, I kind of took that as a bit of an insult. Yeah. So I have not watched it yet.
The Boys, I haven't seen episode 1 of. Exorcist 3. Brad Dourif is incredible in that movie. Some nice cinematography. I feel like it's a little padded, just a little padded. I think we'll talk more about that in the distant future.
Yes. Mike Swift, did you see the trailer for Mel Gibson R-rated Santa movie? It's called Fat Man. No, we were talking about that briefly earlier. I'd seen it kind of circling around social media. Have not watched the trailer. I think that's a movie I'd like to go in blind. That synopsis right there, R-rated Santa movie with Mel Gibson. I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I've grown to where if I'm already sold, I don't need the trailer to keep selling me.
Right.
Thoughts on getting the director's cut for Godfather 3? Yeah, the Godfather movies are undoubtedly great, but they're not movies that I enjoy to like watch more than the first time. Then I'm like, okay, I've seen them now. They're not rewatchable for me.
They don't move like Goodfellas does.
No, exactly. They're not. I would put Goodfellas way above those first two. I know Brian probably pulling his hair out right now if he hears that. But Godfather 3, I especially did not enjoy just because I didn't think it was a very good movie. On top of being slow, I don't really care.
All of them. It's got to be 3 hours. Does it?
Yeah. Well, apparently this one, the director's cut's actually a good bit shorter.
Oh.
So that's different. Lord. Yeah, that's different. I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that Francis Ford Coppola is finally going back and changing it, and we'll see. If I see the collective movie fandom saying this is so much better, this is on par with 1 and 2, then I might check it out. But I genuinely don't give a fuck. Yeah. It's not a movie series that I'm a big fan of. I'm like, I watched the first 2, and I'm like, I recognize this is an extremely well-made film.
Can you highlight that Mark J comment?
If you were to pick any final girl to be in a certain movie, which final girl would you pick and what movie would you put them in? For example, Sidney Prescott in John Carpenter's Halloween. I'll take that.
Before you, all right. So as you answer that, is Sidney Prescott really that high in regard as a final girl?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, think for multiple reasons. One, she kicks the shit out of basically all the ghost faces,
but they're all like people.
Yeah, and she
like I could put the ghost face mask on, and then she kicks the shit out of me, and yeah. Sidney Prescott beat up CP. Oh man, she's awesome. It's just a dude, and it's a chick one time. Like
she's one of my favorite final girls. She's like in my top 3 or 4.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. I don't. I'd have to sit on that. I don't know. But reading that, I don't know. Sidney Prescott. I'd like to see her really deal with something, because she's like always comes out on top. She never really. Dare I say a little Mary Sue-ish at times, but her competition isn't that strong. It's her boyfriend and her friend. It's her boyfriend's mom. It's what was 3?
Her brother,
her niece. Like, okay, cool. Nobody weighs but 150 pounds between the 4 of them. I'm not trying to hate for everybody. Like listen.
Yes, you are.
I'm just saying I'd like to see her just take on a little bit more. I don't think she's like the platinum grade.
Well, I mean, to be fair, what final girl really goes toe to toe with a supernatural villain?
7, Friday 7. Heather Langenkamp.
Heather Langenkamp, yes. Okay, that's one. But I mean, like physically.
Jamie Lee for Halloween.
H2O, and her and 2 other people for 2018. I mean, I don't know. I think you could, if you really want to pick it apart, I think you could have that argument for quite a few of them.
Yeah, it's something I'd like to sit on, but not this month. But...
I mean, she physically fights all the ghost faces. And you never see anybody physically fight Jason. You never see anybody physically fight Freddy, hardly ever, except for, I mean, Heather Langenkamp does go toe-to-toe with him in the first movie. You don't see really anybody, except for H2O, physically fight Myers, unless you want to count Buster Rhymes.
J.K. Ripley and Aliens. Thank you,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Ripley, and I had Sarah Connor as my number 1 from when I did my top 10 final girls. And I got a lot of shade. They're like, she's not a final girl. And I'm like, no, the first one's a slasher. Sorry. So
she takes her clothes off for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, sorry.
Check.
Oh, look, I'm seeing her in her panties because it's space.
Yeah. So yeah, Sarah Connor and I think Ripley was number 2 or number 3, but then I had Nancy up there too. But yeah, there's oftentimes it's like intellect. I'm smarter than this killer, so I found the way to put them down. Like Ginny. Ginny's not necessarily kicking the shit out of Jason, but she just knows how to make him stupid. Let's see. King Kennedy. What's up, guys? Wondering if you've ever listened to Greta Van Fleet or Coheed and Cambria. If not, you guys should check them out. I haven't.
I have Led Zeppelin, so I'm all set with Greta Van Fleet. And Coheed, I'm a big fan of. So there's that. I mean, Greta Van Fleet, I've heard some of it. It's quite derivative. I'll stick with Led Zeppelin. Thank you.
On the subject of music, have you listened at all to Corey Taylor's new solo album?
No.
It's weird.
Oh, really?
I listened to it yesterday at work, and I didn't dislike it. I've listened to it a couple of times, but I listened to it start to finish at work. It's not like an album that I think is bad, but it just feels like a hodgepodge. You have one song that's got a little bit of a country rock vibe. You have the CMFT Must Be Stopped. That's basically a rap song with some rock behind it. Then you had the one single, the Black Eyes Blue, which sounds like it could be a Stone Sour song, which is probably my favorite song on the album, just for that reason alone. Then you have some songs that are kind of got a little bit of a punk kind of vibe to them. And it seems a little all over the place. It seems like he was in complete creative control of all of it, for better or worse. Some people that are fans would probably love that. I kind of think that it doesn't have the same polish, doesn't have the same focus that his best music has.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm probably not going to have time to actually do a full review of it or anything like that, like I would have liked to have done.
Dude, we're going to have to figure out a way to work around music and just do a music show, because
I'm with you on that.
I'd like to do clips just for reference, but I want to avoid doing the shit for free.
Yeah.
So
isn't it so fucking weird how music is like the instant death to monetization when clips aren't? Like, you can use 30-second clips sometimes and slip under the radar, but you can't use 7 seconds of a song and not get found immediately.
Exactly. I had to trim so much of my Requiem thing, not because of the footage, but because of the fucking music in the background. I was like, what?
Yeah, it pisses you off. I did my Arnold's top 10, and I did the Jamie Lee Curtis strip song, and just for a small little clip to do a little joke. Where did you see the top 10?
I did not.
You motherfucker. No, but I did. I put the scene where Jamie Lee Curtis was stripping or whatever, and then I did the scene from Halloween H2O where Michael's reaching out. And so I was kind of doing a joke with that, but it fucking got flagged as soon as I opened it, as soon as I uploaded it, because of the song. Yeah. And it was only 7 seconds. And I was like, what the fuck? So then I had to go find another strip kind of song and put it behind it. It was annoying. But yeah, for those that aren't in YouTube, YouTube hates when you use licensed music for fucking anything. I had my Nightmare 2 review and my Jeepers Creepers 2 review yanked, blocked completely.
Just recently, right? Jeepers Creepers 2 for me, they just fucking gave me an email 2 weeks ago. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was like 3-4 months ago. Both of them within a week of each other went away completely. And people were messaging. They're like, why does your Nightmare on Elm Street series not have number 2? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I went in there and looked at it. And because I used Careless Whisper when I was making a joke about a lot of the homoerotic stuff in both of those movies, and just to kind of make it light and fun. And so it is literally like 6 seconds of that song. And it got both of them taking off completely. They didn't just take the money away. They said, nope, banned. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I had to use their little bullshit, replace the song thing inside of YouTube, which is garbage.
Yep. It's hard out here for a pimp.
Guys, my super chat is rising. Big Dog Lintern, did you send one? I guess I'm missing the joke. Oh, yep. Tyler Maines Michael versus Derek Mears Jason.
Derek Mears Jason.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. No need to elaborate.
James Jude Courtney versus Derek Mears. Then you have a little bit of a discussion.
To those of us that have only seen one movie, it's not so much a discussion. But we'll see. Horror movie you wish you could have seen in a theater. As in like my first experience watching the movie, or just can I go like tonight when I'm going to go watch The Lost Boys? I would have loved to have seen The Thing. I would have loved to have seen Dream Warriors.
I want to see Psycho opening night. I want a time machine, and I want to watch Psycho with a 1960 crowd, because apparently that was a big deal.
Yeah, Psycho and The Exorcist, I think, was a big one where people were like, bleh, bleh, bleh.
Yeah, people freaking out in the crowd. Yeah, I want to see what that looks like, because
I guess this is the asshole in me coming out. I want to get a time machine and go back and like 15 minutes in and be like, I bet he's the fucking killer. Just be that asshole that ruins the movie.
He's dressed as his mom. All bullshit.
Why does Darth Vader have such a fatherly touch to his voice in this movie? Oh, man. Will you finish the Saw franchise? Of course I will. If the May release date sticks for Spiral, I'll probably get the rest of that review series out in the months leading up to May. There's absolutely no point in me cranking out Saw reviews right now, because the entire point of that franchise review was to hype things up and build things up to the release of Spiral. If Spiral did not get delayed, you would have had all of those reviews within a couple of months. It's not just me avoiding it because I just don't want to do it, but that is a large part of it. I will not lie.
I'm trying to think of 31 torture porn movies to make Brian's.
Yeah, Hostel, Saw.
Yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah,
I ran out.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be just taking revenge on Brian for the next 4 years.
On your grave, however many of those are. Yeah. Hollow, just because. Fuck it.
Yeah. Last House on the Left and the remake. But yeah, I'll start cranking up the Saw reviews again whenever, probably when 2021 starts. I mean, I might trickle one out or two out by the end of the year. I just don't, with everything else taking precedence right now, there's no ticking clock on the Saw franchise reviews other than people just reminding me constantly that I haven't done Saw 5 yet. Either of you guys played Alien Isolation? I have. I didn't. It got very boring and monotonous after a while. I don't think it was a good game. It was a good little. It was a good little idea. It was definitely a cool exercise in how to make a scary scenario. I don't know. The difficulty was so high in trying to hide from that xenomorph that I don't know if it was too much. Man, I got like acid reflux or something going on right now. But there was so many times where you would be quiet and going over to something, and then all of a sudden you would just get this animation of something like, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm dead. But yeah, it was a cool game for a couple hours, but it got a little old for me. Let's see here. Cody, have you revisited Rise of Skywalker since you first saw it in theaters? No, I have not. But as time continues to go on and as more news comes out and as more people keep talking about it from behind the scenes, the less I like it. The more they keep saying, like, yeah, we really didn't have a fucking plan at all. We just kind of put it together. It makes the movie seem worse. Let's see. Hellraiser, Saw, Wrong Turn, next 31 on 31. We're just gonna pick all this. We're just gonna pick all this shittiest. 31 on 31. Fuck you, Brian edition.
Yeah. I don't care if I'm going down. I'm bringing you with me.
Brian would have a 30-way tie for 31 and then a number 1 just to fuck with us. Oh man, Cody, check your messenger. What happened? But yeah, we already have the idea mostly set in stone for next year's 31 on 31. We are just kind of joking around.
Yeah.
But okay, I must have missed a couple super chats. Let me see here. I got that one. Francisco Gonzalez gave us $5. What is your guys' worst horror movie experience? You two are awesome. Well, thank you. Worst horror movie experience as far as theater experience or just movie in general, I'm not sure. My worst theater experience, I was actually just talking about this yesterday with a friend at work, was Lights Out, that movie that came out 2 or 3 years ago where the ghost that can only be there in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
The chick in front of me, in the row in front of me, was Snapchatting all of the scare scenes. So every single time that your horror movie intuition would kick in because the music would swell down and somebody's walking down a dark hallway, she would lift her phone up like this and film the entire 5-minute sequence or whatever. And then she would spend another 5 minutes in front of me, like putting emojis and smiley faces and like, at Lights Out. And I was getting fucking pissed. And as soon as I got up to go talk to like a manager or somebody, like somebody from the theater walked in and she put her phone away. And I guess she just decided never to pull it out again. So the problem kind of went away. But that was my worst theater experience.
Black Christmas 2019. Emily, like I said, wanted to leave 15 minutes in. And I was like, no, we need to make content. And I really wish we had left 15 minutes in because it never got better. It was bad. Like bad. And it's tough. It's tough when you're trying to keep the female in the outfit in the feminist movie, and she's giving you a pass to leave. And yeah, it wasn't worth the content that ride. I could have cleaned my oven instead.
Yeah, that was a rough one. That was a very rough movie for sure. Another one that I had a bad experience with was Us. When I went to go see Us, I was sitting next to the most annoying fucking couple ever. And they kept talking about the movie the whole goddamn time. Like every time something went, she's like, I bet she's about to go do this. And like the shit that you do at home when you don't have anybody sitting next to you that fucking paid to see the movie too. They were doing that, but like audibly. And the whole movie, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I'm a very tolerant person. Most people wouldn't think I am because of my rants and shit like that, but I'm a very tolerant person. And I know that if I eventually lose my shit, everybody in the vicinity is going to now be disrupted when I might have been the only person disrupted by this couple. So I always try to keep that in mind. And it was maybe an hour into the film. It was right to the point where they left the chick from Invisible Man and her family, and they were outside and they were like arguing over who killed more people. It was right at that point, and they started talking again. And we have like the reclining seats in our theater that are kind of loud if you do it in the middle. So I was sitting there, and they started talking again. And I was like, "Fucking!" And I got my drink, and I went, and put my shit down, and got up and walked to the other side of the theater and sat in another empty seat.
You showed them.
Yeah, exactly. I know they noticed it, but then I didn't disrupt anybody else. So it's kind of like a quiet fuck you.
Passive aggressive, gotta love it.
Exactly. So those two, those two were rough.
I have not seen The Demon Who Resides Down South, 1971.
What?
Somebody asked me numerous times if I have seen the
I thought you were I thought you were using like creative other alternate word for something. I have not seen The Demon Who Resides Down South. I was like, yeah, me either, not in a year and a half.
Dude, that's not the code word. If you just want to end the stream, just say you want to end the stream.
Exactly. Worst experience is when a fight broke out in Thor 3. Interesting movie to have a fight break out. I've had fights break out in front of me, and it's funny because like I'm always the guy that doesn't really panic because I'm like I just kind of like keep doing whatever the fuck I'm doing. Like there's a video that was going around about these like 4 people getting into a brawl in like a diner, and there's a dude sitting in front of the guy who is filming, and he's just eating his French fries, and he's like, and that people were posting it, and there was comments like that dude eating the fries is a serial killer or something. And like, that's me when fights break out. I'm just like, unless it's right next to me and I need to like move out of the way, I just watch. I'm just like, continue with whatever the fuck I'm doing.
Just keep it away from my food.
One of the funniest ones that I saw, and I was dying laughing because I watched it 2 or 3 times before I noticed it, and I posted it on Facebook. It was a video that was saying like, is this good parenting or is this abuse? And it was a black mom that walked into an In-N-Out Mart, and her son, who's supposed to be at home doing his digital learning, is standing there, and she's like, thought you're supposed to be back at the house. And then she tries to grab, she's like, come on, and he pulls his arm away. Mm-hmm. He's like, no. And she's like, do it again. And then she grabs him and he pulls it, and she pulls her belt out and fucks him up in this, just beats his ass to where his shoes fly off, and he runs out of the store. And it's so fucking funny because I am pro ass whooping. I grew up, my dad did not play. Sure. Yeah, my dad did not play. And I think that was a large reason why I was a responsible kid and became a responsible adult. So I'm a firm believer in that within reason. Yeah. But so when I see posts like that, it's like, is this abuse? I always jump on and I'm like, hell no, I'm with mama. Yeah. So I saw that. But when you watch the video closely, the dude who is second in line at the In-N-Out Mart, as soon as that kid pulls his arm away and he knows that black moms don't really play, he steps like 5 feet back and just watches. And I fucking died when I saw that because I could just read his thoughts. The kid pulls his arm away and he was like, oh, hell no. And just moves back because he knew his mom was about to go off on his ass. It was fucking great. Holly and Mua. Horror movie moment that truly scared you the most that stuck with you. Mine was the prom scene of Mary Lou Prom Night 2. The Zelda scenes in Pet Sematary stuck with me a lot as a kid. That was the only horror movie that ever really fucked with me. Where like if I had to walk out to go take a piss at night, I was like, Zelda's over there. What the fuck is that? So there was that. The scene in the beginning of the 1990 It, which is probably funny now, but back in the day, that was the only other movie that where Pennywise could fuck with me a little bit. Believe it or not, I don't remember if it was a specific scene, but another movie that genuinely creeped me out to where I remember vividly that night being a little uneasy walking around in the dark was that movie with Halle Berry, Gothica. That was another movie that I thought was actually pretty damn intense. But those are my answers. What are yours?
Yeah. Zelda, you took my answer again. Again, this is a sign of the times. Watching Blair Witch with a opening weekend crowd, that experience, like it was quite frightening. A whole lot of nothing building up to, oh shit, that's him in the corner. We're fucked. And The Ring opening weekend, when she crawls out of the TV was pretty gnarly for a young lad of myself. But I don't know. I've grown immune, but Zelda was that's still hard to beat, man.
Yeah. Jeremy Jock or Chris Stinkman?
The guy who wrote a book and then went to film school. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
A little salt.
Yeah. Here's 50 movies you should see. Now I'm going to learn about movies.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Hey, you're talking about me right now, man.
Did you write a book?
Not yet. I'm on page 1.
I've got 37.
It was the best of movies. It was the worst of movies. That's where I've stopped. Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman, I think they're both good at different things. Jeremy Johns is the guy if you want quick thoughts, if you want just average Joe, what my experience was. Chris Stuckman seems to be a little bit more, I don't mean this as an insult to Jeremy, but he seems to be a little bit more educated as far as how he kind of talks about film. Yeah. He kind of comes from a little bit more of an analytical standpoint, which is good and bad for certain movies. Jeremy has more natural humor. Chris is very forced whenever he tries to be funny, I think. But they're both like the two pioneers for what we're doing. So I got nothing but respect for them. I don't really watch their stuff too much anymore, to be honest with you. Jeremy Johns, the more that I got into YouTube, I kind of grew more frustrated with how bare bones his stuff is, and he just never really seems to put forth the effort to make it better. And he admits that completely. There's actually a friend of mine who invited him to be on his channel, and he has enough subscribers to merit that invite. And the response that he got literally from Jeremy Johns was, "Hey, I totally know who you are. I'd love to do it. I'm just in a really lazy mood right now and probably won't."
Wow.
Yeah. And Chris, I probably would watch Chris Stuckman more than Jeremy Johns nowadays, just because I don't know, he seems to put out a little bit more quality stuff, I think, just from a editing standpoint, from a quality standpoint.
The other thing is when you start creating, I don't know about you, but me, I find myself less likely to watch reviews.
And I've said that before. Like, I really only watch like stuff that you do, stuff that Brian does, like my friends stuff. Yeah, exactly. Just what I can, if it's something that I really want to see, or if it's just if I'm casually sitting there. But yeah, I spend so much time and energy talking about movies and editing things about movies and answering comments about movies, answering endless messages about movies, that when I get on YouTube, I'm looking at like cooking videos and like other shit that's like totally in a different another world. I need like a palate cleanser. So yeah.
Oh, another World War II video. Let me put this shit on. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Are UFOs real? Let's find out. A guy brought a kid in with a DS Lite to Joker. Yeah, I would have told management about that immediately. Fuck that shit. I had somebody bring in their kid and he had a tablet that was like full on like watching a movie. But luckily, when the movie started, they stopped. I gave him a chance. I was like, please tell me they're just doing this shit during the previews. And they're going to tell us.
Fuck.
Yeah, as soon as that movie started and his shit got put away, I was like, oh, you're fucking lucky, because I would have.
Ultra short attention span.
Yeah, no shit. Tyler Trigg, I'm a Leatherface guy. Yes, most of the franchise is real bad, but what is your guy's favorite thing about him, and what does he brings, or what he brings to the screen? He's got a good look for a horror villain. If I'm talking specifically on the remake, he definitely would scare the fuck out of me if he was chasing me.
I like the remake version of him. He's so different in the sequels. Like he's a different version.
He's different in every fucking movie. That's the problem. He has no consistency. Like the movies themselves don't have any consistency, but even the character does. Like when I did my ranking the Leatherface video, it was like, okay, this is easy to do because in this movie he's like all woman. And then in this movie, he's anti-hero. In this movie, he's just a goofy dude who like shakes the chainsaw up in the air and then chases after somebody. And this movie, he's actually trying to kill people.
A little hip wiggle, like
yeah, exactly. So every movie with Leatherface, you don't know what you're getting. So that's my biggest flaw with him.
Probably the scariest and the most badass. There's times where it's just like, I feel sorry for him right now. I don't, his family's shitty and he's just trying to play with his speaking spell.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think the Friday the 13th franchise should get the Halloween 2018 treatment, or should it get a sequel to the remake? I'll take a sequel to the remake. The point of going back like Halloween 2018 did is for story reasons. And this is not really trying to be an insult to the Friday the 13th franchise, but has story ever come first?
No.
So what the fuck does it matter? This one ignores everything after 4.
I'd like them to they need to buy out Vince and then have an offspring of 6 and then forget 7 through whatever happened. And because Vince has got a nice little, I mean, if you haven't watched Never Hike Alone, watch it now because there's another one coming out. He like diverts the path and keeps things going from 6. I wouldn't mind that storyline just getting stretched a bit.
Yeah.
And that's not just because, you know, we're friends with Vince. I like what he's doing with that story.
I agree. But I'll take a sequel to the remake. Love you, Vince.
I better get my copy before him.
Yep. What's better, Suspiria or the 2019 remake? Have you seen both?
Yes. They're different movies.
They're hardly even comparable to a degree. I would probably watch the original one again before I would watch the remake again. The remake is long and taxing with the two different performances by Tilda Swinton.
She's 3, isn't she?
Maybe she's 3. Her playing a guy the whole movie was just weird to me because I knew it's Tilda Swinton, and every time I saw him, I'm like, why is Tilda Swinton playing this guy?
You know, he's there. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just strange. Yeah, I'm not somebody that has Suspiria as like greatest of all time. It didn't have that impact on me. I know a lot of people would slap me for saying that. So neither one of them are really in that high regard for me. I get what the original was going for. I'm just not really a Giallo fan so far. The 3 or 4 that I've watched just haven't really done it for me. But I did like Suspiria the best out of those 3 or 4 that I watched.
Second time, it'll totally change. You'll be in love.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, best of all time. 2019 remake, I liked what they did. I liked that they did something different, vastly different, especially like the last act of the movie where shit goes haywire. I thought was pretty fucking sweet. But that movie, like I said, is taxing to get there, and it's like 3 hours long. So
yeah. I'll take the original Suspiria, but that's probably because I've only seen Suspiria 2018 once.
Yeah.
And I was totally caught off guard. I was like, whoa, this is completely different.
Do you guys think Nightmare on Elm Street will ever come back in some form? Yeah. Ever? Absolutely. Here soon, hopefully. If we don't have news of a movie going green light for Nightmare on Elm Street by the end of 2021, I'm going to start getting worried. Now is aside from COVID and all that shit, I understand that putting a halt on production, but like COVID aside, let's pretend COVID is not even in existence right now and things are going normally. Now is the time to make something like that. Yeah. Something like a Friday the 13th.
Holding them back.
Exactly. Like Friday the 13th has their little court bullshit, but even with that one, it's like there's no reason to wait. Like now is the time when horror movies are making a comeback and slashers and old properties are making a comeback. They definitely don't need to wait until after Halloween Ends comes out and say, okay, now it's our turn. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So yes, I would say by the end of 2021, we'll have heard, provided COVID doesn't go for another year and a half. We're going to hear something. Will you review Cyberpunk 2077? If I like it enough to finish the whole game, I don't know. I like to do more video game reviews, but the problem with me is I don't feel comfortable reviewing a game unless I've finished it. And that's a lot more to ask of somebody than watching a whole movie. Last of Us Part 2 was something where I was playing it nonstop because I loved it, but I was also playing it nonstop because I needed to get through it so that I could get my review out. And that was a long fucking game. I bought Marvel's Avengers with the intention of reviewing that, but I only got 2 hours into it. And I'm like, I don't enjoy playing this game. I'm not going to do a review and say, hey, I didn't really like it, so I didn't finish it, because then everybody in the mother's going to be like, you should finish it before you open your mouth. And I kind of agree with that. So I bought the Mafia Definitive Edition thing, and I only got like 20 minutes into that before I had to do other things. So if Cyberpunk comes out and I really enjoy it and I'm playing it and I can get through the whole game and it's not a month and a half later, yes.
Have you seen VHS?
Have
you seen VHS?
Yes, the first one. Oh, I see it there. Have you seen VHS? Yeah, that's the one. The segment that I really liked from that was the chick who was like the succubus or the bat monster or whatever. Have you seen it?
No.
It's a compilation movie or anthology movie where like some people break into a house and they find this VHS, and the VHS has like 3 or 4 different horror stories in it. And all of them but one I didn't think was very good. But there's one of them where a guy goes to a bar with his friends, and there's this chick who's acting really weird, and she's like, I like you. and walks up to him, and they end up bringing this chick back to the hotel, and it's kind of like a found footage anthology.
Mm-hmm.
So this chick ends up being like a monster and fucking rips these people apart, and it comes out of nowhere, and it's a pretty cool little story, but that's the only one that I think is worthy of watching from VHS. Luckily, it's the first one, though, if I remember correctly. Yes, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Put the needle back about half an hour. You'll have a lot of fun.
We didn't spend half an hour trashing Critters. It might have been 26 minutes.
No, but that's when we started about half an hour ago.
No, somebody said they spent half an hour trashing Critters, Brian. Tattle.
Where?
Scott
Where?
V at
Scott V, how dare you? No, we didn't. We spent like
28
minutes. We had a lot of awesome ideas for another 31 on 31. You should love them.
Yeah, you're going to have a grand old time next year, Brian.
And the year after that. And the year after that. Screw all y'all. Oh, man. Let's see.
Sound effects, the boing, and I was like, oh, man. Did they just drop a boing sound effect on?
What films do you want a sequel for?
It Follows.
Yeah.
Just because, and for no other reason. I'd like more of that.
Just to piss Cecil off. I'm pretty sure he hates that one. What films do you want a sequel for? I mean, yeah, It Follows is good. All the ones that you list, I haven't seen John Carter, but Dread and Alita. Alita's actually come back to theaters, so support that movie if you have not seen it yet.
Yeah.
I really want to see a sequel to. Shit. I think I just did a video series, 2 movies I want a sequel for, and I fucking blanking on them now. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that's where I need that car crash thing.
Yeah.
Shut up!
Shut your head. If you knew it was good for you, you'd shut your face.
Cody and CP are going to give Critters the DCF treatment 2060-31.
That's close. I'll say at least one of the Critters is in the top half.
Yeah. I'm going to give it the Child's Play treatment, where I'm going to say it's not going to be the entire Critters franchise, and I'm going to do 5 through 2, and then I'll have a little break, and then I'll do 1. Oh, man. Have either of you watched Supernatural, and thoughts on it ending after 15 seasons, 327 episodes? I loved Supernatural for a long time. I watched all the way through till the season where Dean becomes a demon at the very end, where he opens his eyes and his eyes are black. And then I haven't watched any since. It wasn't because I just lost interest. What happened was I had gotten together with Holly, and quickly I started trying to get her caught up on all these shows that I was watching because we were living together. So we got caught up on Dexter, and then the season 4 finale ended, and she got really pissed and she said, fuck this show, I'm not watching it anymore. So then I put Supernatural on. She started really getting into Supernatural, got all the way up to like halfway through season 6, and then she just kind of stopped watching. And so it was really difficult for me to start watching the show again with her not being caught up. And then a year would go by, and then 2 years would go by. And then I'd be like, okay, fuck it, I'm just going to watch it. And then I'd realize how many episodes I'm behind. And then now we're like 5 seasons past that. So I kind of wish I would have caught up by now so that I could watch the finale. But yeah, it might be a little while before I catch back up. But I was a very big fan of that show.
No, I was intrigued when there's an actor who he's all over the place. He was in Lost. He played Jacob on Lost, but he plays Lucifer in Supernatural. And I was intrigued to see, because on Lost, he's, that might be a spoiler. Well, a similar line of.
Is that the guy?
Yeah, Mark Pellegrino.
Okay, I was going to say Pellegrino. Okay, yeah. He's in Dexter, too.
Yes, he's the bullshit husband in the first season. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, he's good in Supernatural.
He's in Big Lebowski. That guy has got like tiny parts and everything.
Mm-hmm. There's one because one of the brothers has demon blood inside of him. That's a big storyline in the first couple of seasons, and there's a season where his demonic side starts to take over. And there's an episode where Mark Pellegrino is Lucifer. They've already defeated him and everything like that, but he's kind of like subconsciously fucking with that brother through his demon blood or whatever. And there's an episode where his demon side takes over and the room starts to come on fire or whatever. And he turns around and Mark Pellegrino's talking to him and he goes, "Good morning, Vietnam." And like, I just remember him for that.
Yes, the dude that plays Rita's ex in Dexter. Yeah, the heroin addict.
Yeah.
Or heroin addict. Yeah.
Paul. Horror film you expected to hate but loved. I know there's an obvious one over the past couple of years, and I can't fucking think of it. I don't know if it was horror. There's been one or two movies that I thought was going to be dog shit, and I was like, "Oh, that was actually pretty good." Damn. It's one of those questions you could answer easily, but because you're on air, your brain's like, "Think of something now."
Yeah. This is what you had for breakfast. No, not that. Get out of the way.
We'll come back to that if we think of it. What is the worst video game that you have ever played? There's been a lot of movie-based video games back in the past that were dog shit. What the fuck? I gotta text. The Trump administration stands up to China. Joe Biden. No. I keep getting all these texts and messages like, "Can I ask you who you're voting for?"
No.
Your mom. Worst video game. I haven't played like a really shit video game in a long time because by now in modern times, it's pretty obvious which ones are going to suck. There's some you might play that are disappointing, but like absolute dog shit games, it's pretty easy to avoid nowadays. So I haven't fallen into that trap in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't play enough to like, there's nothing that really jumps out. I haven't played it. You know what? That fucking The Order 1886 or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was a game that I actually really liked, but it was so fucking short. It was like it was like what, 4 hours long.
It looked gorgeous. It was neat, but it was just
yeah. It was like a preview of a bigger game that was going to come, and it just never will. Yeah. What is the better franchise after the first two films, Alien or Terminator?
Alien.
I'm actually going to say Terminator, but that's only because I'm not really huge on Prometheus or Alien Covenant. And if Brian's still here, he's ripping his hair out, but he loves it. Terminator 2, so maybe not.
I'll say in 3 weeks. It's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Terminator, the third film is not good. Beyond that, I mean, Genesis is not good either, but it's like watchably bad. It's like fun how bad it is. I mean, aside from those two films, I really like Salvation, and I love Dark Fate. I know I'm in the minority with that. So that's 4 out of 6 movies that I think are really good. Alien, I don't like 3. I have fun with 4, but I acknowledge it's not a very good movie. You have the 2 Alien versus Predator movies, which are not that great. I have fun with the first one. The second one's pretty bad.
Can't even see the second one.
Yeah, I don't really care much for Prometheus, although I appreciate the ambition. I don't really care much for Alien Covenant, although I appreciate the ambition. So that's a movie with how many films I just named? So that's 8 movies, of which I genuinely enjoy 2. So I'll take Terminator.
Please avoid the political talk in the chat. We're just BSing about other stuff.
Oh yeah, guys, please. That's that should go without saying. Summer of '84 or The Clove Hitch Killer. Did you see The Clove Hitch Killer? I
haven't seen The Clove Hitch Killer.
That's a damn good movie.
No, wait. Summer of '84 is like that bootleg Stranger Things movie, right?
Bootleg.
Kids running around with the
The neighbor is
The
a
neighbor
cop. They
friend,
think he's
yeah.
a killer.
Yeah, I've seen
yes.
that. I've seen that. I haven't seen Clovage Killer.
I absolutely loved Summer of '84. That was my second favorite movie that year. The Clovage Killer, I was late to the party on, but that was actually a damn good movie. I would prefer Summer of '84 easily. That one's got more rewatch factor, but the Clovage Killer is really good. I forget the guy's name. Dylan McDermott, I think, is the actor. The guy who's in a couple of the American Horror Stories, and he's been in other shit. But he is playing this everyday dad, and his son finds something that makes him think that his dad might have been this clove hitch killer that was kind of terrorizing their town a decade or so ago. And he's right. So the whole, I mean, they tell you that pretty quickly. I'm not spoiling anything, but the whole movie is his son trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And it goes to some very dark places as far as how the son is dealing with this, and especially how the dad is dealing with this once things start to come to fruition that his son has found out who he is. So it's a really good movie. It leaves you on a note where you're kind of like, what the fuck? Was David Fincher supposed to direct World War Z 2? At one point, he was signed on. I don't know what has come of it since. I didn't really think World War Z was that good of a movie in the first place, to be honest with you. So I never really...
Brad Pitt have some unique relationship, and
yeah, exactly.
Happened.
I would watch that in a heartbeat just because I love Fincher.
Yeah.
But I thought the first one was
weird,
way overrated. People love that movie, and it's the highest grossing zombie movie of all time.
The trailer is awesome. That's all I'll say about that.
Here's World War Z. Brad Pitt shows up in an area, zombies come, he leaves. Brad Pitt shows up at a hospital, zombies come, he leaves. Brad Pitt gets on a plane, zombies come, he gets off the plane.
Plane scene's the best part of the movie.
And it's just over and over and over again. Like the whole visual aesthetic of the zombies just kind of like piling into each other and shit. Like,
like ants.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. But like, I remember watching the movie and I'm just like, what is the big deal with this? Like everything here, it's just high budget zombie shit.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Pumpkinhead remake? I assume that it's still on. I really like the first movie. I think that's a movie that you could do a remake for because it was never really in the pop culture presence, and you could easily make a better movie. I remember reading that the director of the remake was adamant about using practical effects, which that excites me. Beyond that, I don't really know shit else about it, or if it's still going on, or if that was just an idea, or if COVID killed it. I don't
know. Nightmare 2 is already LGBTQ+. Everybody who's made that movie says that.
Robert Englund wants a remake to Nightmare 2 and wants it to be LGBT. Well, if they're remaking it, it would have to be by default. Yeah. I don't know. That's a weird statement from Robert Englund. Robert Englund's got some very strange thoughts on his own franchise. Like his favorite is Part 5.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm sure your experiences making it and stuff like that probably makes that differently, which obviously none of us have. But yeah, he'll say some stuff that would be very unpopular in his own fan base. And I think even that there, if like, hey, if Nightmare finally gets a movie out and they say, we're going to do the story from Nightmare 2, but we're going to do it again, a collective, what the fuck would come out of the entire franchise fandom, with the exception of maybe a small minority that are like, yes, finally. So I don't know.
I think subtext is okay sometimes. I mean, everybody has the actor, the director, script
writer.
Yeah. They've all said that there's subtext for homosexuality throughout that movie. So
yeah, but the creative choices by the team that were making the movie kind of brought it from the sub to the front.
Yeah. So
let's have them dance and then make a little pop noise with a dick.
Yeah. I don't know what else you'd want from that to make it more LGBTQ plus, but you know.
Let's.
Uh-oh. I think Cody hit a wrong button, but I'm still live. So I'll do a dance. Hey.
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
It kicked me out. I'll say this. Is there a version of a modern Nightmare on Elm Street movie about a character with a closeted homosexuality or closeted something that Freddy preys on? Is there a good movie in that? Sure.
Can he do it though with the sensitive culture today?
I don't know. I don't know if that would be welcomed or hated. That's the thing. I don't know if they're like, hey, we're going to make a pro-gay Freddy movie, but it's going to be about Nightmare 2 is weird because it's kind of pro, but kind of against, because if you watch it in a certain way, the whole movie is about Freddy being this homosexuality coming out, which is the villain of the movie. Right. And by the end, he's saved by the heterosexual relationship with Meryl Streep Light.
Bootleg Meryl Streep.
Yeah. So there you go. So
I don't want woke Freddy. I really don't.
I don't either. I don't want it to be forced into some agenda or some message. I want it to be a good Freddy movie because we don't have enough of them.
You want to fear Freddy if it's going to be, LGBTQ plus friendly, then you're going to have to deal with the fact that Freddy's going to have to drop some F-bombs. And I'm not talking about UCK. Yeah. You're going to have to hate him.
Yeah. I could maybe get behind one of the victims. Like if you're going to have Dream Warriors kind of aesthetic where there's 6 or 7 kids, if that's their storyline, sure.
Yeah, just as a couple that you don't highlight it. It's just a couple of, homosexual, gay couple, whatever, but you don't bring it up. It just happens. They're there. They happen to sleep. They happen to die.
Something.
Yeah. Just don't beat us over. Don't Black Christmas it, please.
Oh, for God. Oh, yeah. Don't do that. Oh, God. That movie, I swear, it's one of those movies where you talk about it and it's like, it can't be as bad as you're saying. And it's like, it is. It is as bad as we're saying.
Fucking worse.
Yes. It sucks that LGBTQ stuff is associated with woke stuff. We're just people. We exist. Just feature us as a part of life. And there you go. There you go. Exactly. And that's what we're saying. Like inclusion is important.
Sure.
If you force inclusion to try to get points, that becomes a problem. Mm-hmm. And it kind of belittles the people that you're trying to include to a degree. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. Is it's like if you're going to make it a compelling part of the story, if it's got a purpose, if it's there and you have good reason to do it, there's no reason not to. If it's just like, hey, people will like this, Yeah.
Hey, I've got a good story.
Yeah.
What are the characters? It doesn't matter.
Black Christmas is the perfect example of that, where they're like, it's the Me Too movement. We got to have a pro female kicking the shit out of a man movie. But the whole movie is like,
women. Oh, good guy. No, he's bad. He's bad. He's a man.
What was the one scene where they say something to the chick? It was the black chick who was like really feisty about it. And she says something where like somebody tries to defend a guy in front of her. And she's like, did you just say this?
Yeah.
And I don't remember what her line is, but
the other chick's boyfriend got kicked out of the house because
that's what it was. Yeah.
It was just like, dude, what the fuck? One nice guy. You could have.
They could have reinforced the message like, hey, but there are some nice guys in the world. These are the ones you want to look out for. No, fuck him too.
And he dies rather quickly. Horror is the one genre that, as far as representation for females is concerned, you don't gotta worry. Dude, we're on 40 years worth of women as leads. Maybe you want to start focusing on nudity, perhaps, but women always save the day in horror movies, or definitely slashers. So I don't know what this sudden need to to awaken the horror genre. That we've been woke. We've been here.
Sky Min, I'm LGBTQ plus and a feminist, and I'm tired of that fake woke shit.
As is Emily.
That's still funny that Emily wanted to leave. Like, fuck this feminist shit. Bates. Oh, whoops! I hate when the chat moves right as I click. I'm like, oh, wrong one. Bates Motel or Hannibal, and which is your favorite actor for each character?
I haven't finished Bates Motel. I haven't watched Hannibal.
It's hard to say because Bates Motel actually got to finish. Hannibal got cut off.
Oh.
So I can't say until Hannibal has a proper ending. I can't say which one is better. All I can tell you is that they're both awesome. Bates Motel is 1,000 times better than it had any right being. When they said we're going to do a modern TV version of Psycho and you're going to get to know Norman Bates before all of this happens when he was a teenager, I went, oh, because I traditionally just don't really like prequels at all because they tend to answer questions that I never asked or they answer questions that I did not want to know a specific answer to. But Bates Motel as a series was fantastic all the way through. Hannibal was another one where I was like, how the hell are you going to do Hannibal on, what was it, USA or NBC or whatever the fuck it was? I was like, how the hell are you going to do that? I hate when they take rated R movie properties and make it like PG-13 TV. And Hannibal was like a rated R TV show. There was not like tits and F-bombs, but gore was there. And it was fucking killer. I mean, it no pun intended. When you have the show that's focused on, I forget the main detective's name, but it's the character from Manhunter or Red Dragon. He's your protagonist. He's this guy who's the FBI serial killer hunter, and they bring in Hannibal as kind of like a consultant for these murders because of his expertise. And all the while, as you know, Hannibal Lecter is a fucking serial killer. So he's helping the police look for himself. And it's just a really badass show, this 3-season arc that they go on, to where season 1 is all about Will Graham. Thank you. Will Graham trying to find this serial killer, and by the end realizing that it's Hannibal. Season 2 is about everybody finding out that it's Hannibal, and season 3 is basically half a recreation of the movie Hannibal and half a recreation of the movie Manhunter or Red Dragon. And the Hannibal TV series version of the movie Hannibal is far and away better than the movie. And I would even say in certain aspects, the Hannibal TV show version of that Red Dragon or Manhunter storyline is better than either of those movies. So it was a show where the more it went on, it was like, this is fucking awesome. And then they just cut it off. And you get a half-assed ending that you have no idea how to interpret. And, you know, I still wish that Netflix or somebody would pick it up and give us a season-long version of the Silence of the Lambs storyline. That's all I want. Like, that's... Seriously, it's not, when I say it cuts off, it's not like it cuts off and you're pissed because you're left on a cliffhanger. It kind of has a definitive ending if you want it to be a definitive ending. It just feels like there's more. So I would encourage everybody, including you, to check out Hannibal because it's fucking badass. Which is your favorite actor for each character? Oh, fuck. I mean, it's hard to compare what Freddie Highmore was able to do because he had 5 seasons to do it, and you only have 4 movies with Anthony Perkins. But Anthony Perkins probably, I would still say, is my favorite version of Norman. And I'm going to say that, you know, despite how Silence of the Lambs, I think, is the best version of Hannibal that you get with Anthony Hopkins. But if you take all of the Anthony Hopkins movies, I think that Mads Mikkelsen does better with his 3 seasons as a whole. But I don't think that's Anthony Hopkins' fault. I just think that the other 2 movies aren't up to par.
Do you think nudity will ever be back in movies like it was in the old slasher films? Not on the, you know, mainstream. Probably for VOD stuff and indie stuff. That Me Too movement's gonna change a lot of things. People used to do a lot of things to get work back in the day, and that's changing now. So
not only that, I mean, back in the 80s too, they kind of knew what they had to work with. They said, let's throw some cool inventive kills, which there wasn't a whole lot of competition back in the 80s, and we'll throw some tits on the screen and we'll at least have their attention. Nowadays, they don't always require that. You know what I mean?
That was the one thing that shocked me during Critters 2. I was like, whoa, tits. We got tits.
Oh, man. Silence of the Lambs review? Yeah, maybe eventually. Had 0 issues with the Friday the 13th, 2009. Awesome. I wouldn't say I had 0 issues with it, but I think most of the issues that you can point to at that, you can point to the whole franchise. Vince's argument against that, he's told me many times, is they have no excuse to make the same mistakes as those movies in the 80s, which, fair enough. But I don't know. Me, as a very casual Friday the 13th fan, I think you have the best Jason in that movie. I think you have awesome kills, especially the first 15 minutes of the movie is just fucking rocking. I think that the filmmaking wise, it is hard to dispute that that's one of, if not the best, as far as shot choice, lighting, cinematography, stuff like that, which is not what you go to a Friday the 13th movie for.
You're not competing with much there.
Yeah. And I think that the where it loses everybody is the characters.
Oh yeah, they're obnoxious.
And I enjoy that. And I enjoy that because I think that really, aside from part 4, I really could give a fuck about any of the characters in the whole franchise. I think like a lot of those movies have terrible characters. When you get to this one, I feel like they just really heightened all of the caricatures that you see. Like all of the chicks are fucking supermodels.
I was just gonna say, like, as much as 17-year-old me hates to hear me say this, but there are too many hot chicks. Like they're like.
When you have Danielle Panabaker and she's easily the ugly one of the group, you're like
exactly.
So you have that
9.5.
Yeah, I love Jared Padalecki because, like I said, I'm a Supernatural fan, so I like his character. I like his version of that guy from part 4. And Trent, I think, is fucking hilarious. Everybody hates Trent, but you're supposed to hate him. Me and Brian are on the same page when it comes to Trent. He's a douchebag because he's supposed to be a douchebag, and he succeeds very well at being a douchebag. I mean, there's quotable lines from him that it's just like the most douchey thing you could possibly say in that moment, and it's fucking hilarious to me. Like, who has sex with a 10 and says, you got stupendous tits? You have perfect nipple placement's perfect. It's just, I have a blast with that movie. It's not perfect, though.
Who bangs their side piece with their girlfriend somewhere around?
I can't really figure out if that's his girlfriend or not. I always watch the movie and it feels that way in the first half an hour, which is part of a flaw of the movie. The first half an hour, it feels that way, but she immediately goes off with Jared Padalecki for the rest of the movie. And it seems like everybody's just kind of casual friends. But yeah, I thought that at first. I was like, that guy's got some balls. He's just going to take chick B into the bedroom and just whenever she comes home, she'll just, hey, whatever. I'll talk to you when I'm done. Not now.
Okay. I've had some work done. Let's all just relax. Somebody says I look 45. You need to check over on the other Florida channel there for age.
Damn, Cody, breaking my heart. I don't know what I said to break your heart, but I apologize.
If I shave my beard, I look 15 years younger. How about that? It's just grace. Just grace. Relax. Mentally, I'm 5.
Yeah, exactly. You're only as old as you feel. I don't feel a day over 16. Critters review series inbound. I don't know. See, like, my plan is always for October to get all of the movies that we're ranking reviewed, and the only ones that I have not reviewed is Jaws, Critters, and I think Predator 2. But with this move, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to get many, if any, reviews out before 31. I have things that, like the Bly Manor and a couple of Blumhouse movies that are like time sensitive to get out. The Friday the 13th and the Chucky unboxing, which was literally just a off the cuff was like, I guess I should do a video on this. But really, by the end of this week, I'm going to have to pack up this entire room, and it's going to be another week easy before I'm able to pull it all out and start recording again. So it's going to be hard enough to get the movies watched and ranked for 31 on 31. So what I'm probably going to have to do is do 31 on 31 and then trickle the reviews out in November and December, like the Critters movies, the Jaws movies, The Thing. I have to review both of those too. So yeah, that's probably going to be a rest of 2020 project for me, not necessarily an October project. So you heard it here first.
I'm younger than 41.
Cody is the same age as Margot Robbie. Hey,
is Margot Robbie that age?
30, I guess.
And, Frank Graham, you're awfully pleasant. I'll take that. I'm 27. 27. My gallbladder's a little bit older, but they took it out of me. I like Kara's better. We're both 200, but we're vampires.
Are you really 27?
No.
Oh, okay. You said it awfully confident. I was like, I thought you were older than that. But.
I like the illusion.
Holly says she's not turning 30 this year. She's turning 29 too.
Yeah,
so
that's what I say that about things.
30 was weird for me. I've never really felt a birthday. 30 felt weird. I'm like, okay, I'm officially an adult. Like this is the 20s are gone forever. It was like a whole month of just feeling weird. Like, I'd breathe different and be like, oh,
yeah,
what's going on? Like it was just weird shit was happening.
In the middle of the night, you're like, what the fuck is that? Just a cramp in the middle of the leg, like, oh,
yeah, this is how it ends. Oh man. Blake, if YouTube reviews ever became a chore of sorts, would you stop, or do you think you'll always find a way to make it fit? Never say never. I mean, I have a hard time believing that I would be that stacked with things to do at some point in my life that I would not find the time to make videos. If YouTube just shits the bed and goes away one day and there's no Coke to the Pepsi, as CP likes to say, then I guess they've made the decision for me. But I mean, unless the only thing that would make me stop doing videos is if I become one of those unlucky channels that has their shit just yanked with no explanation, which sounds like it shouldn't happen. But Lindsay was actually a victim of that this past weekend. Luckily, she got it back. But yeah, YouTube you didn't see that?
No.
Yeah, they yanked her channel like Friday night or something like that, saying that her channel name was, or her activity was against community guidelines, and she thinks somebody might have hacked into it and was posting something. But nonetheless, yeah, she woke up, her channel was gone. She couldn't log in. They banned you from making a second channel, and you only have if you want to appeal, click here. And we both know how awesome their appeal process is.
Listen, if we say we're not for kids, there should be no more fucking problems.
Yeah.
I'm not for kids. That's it. Sorry.
When that whole thing, that COPPA thing came out, I was going to open every video and say, this video is not for fucking kids, and then have my intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it was that. We really don't know. That's the problem. YouTube does not explain. They're not like, this video at this exact timestamp is against our standards, or it just says, hey, sorry, your channel's gone. And she was pissed, and she was messaging me, and I was like, just appeal it. It's obviously a mistake. And she didn't believe it for a second. She was like, look, I know this channel and this channel this has happened to. They never got their shit back. It's done.
We need
and luckily they gave her shit back. So unless something like that happens to me where years of work just go, I don't think you'll ever see me stop YouTube until YouTube stops. But never say never. I mean, I can't think of anything that would make me stop. Do you guys think Robert Englund will come back for a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie? No, and I don't think he should.
It's getting dark. It's getting dark.
A lot of people keep saying that, and here's the thing, guys. I've said this before. I love Robert Englund. I can't give Robert Englund enough credit. He is by far one of the best horror icons out there for me. He's very important to me. Everything that he's done in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, he can't be thanked enough for that. But let's not forget, the best version of Freddy is Robert Englund, but also the worst version of Freddy is Robert Englund. And it's not like nobody can play Freddy. I know it's difficult to replace. It's much easier to put a hockey mask on a new dude or to put the Michael Myers mask on a new dude and say, here's your new Myers, than it is to say, here's your new Freddy when all of the personality was Robert Englund. Yeah. But I'm one of those people that think that the remake Freddy, what the fuck was his name? I can't think of it all of a sudden.
Jackie Earle?
Jackie Earle Haley. I'm blanking a lot today. Jackie Earle Haley, I actually think did pretty damn good with what he was given, and he wasn't given very much. If you would have had him in a better movie, I think that people would have been more forgiving of his version of Freddy. But I don't think it's going to be that hard to replace Freddy. I think if you find somebody who is mostly unknown, or if you have somebody who is, not like an A-list actor. Like, I don't want to see Brad Pitt as Freddy because I'm just going to see Brad Pitt in makeup. But if you get somebody who is a more unknown actor who has passion for the character and can go into a dark new place, I think you could easily, if it has a good script and a good director, you could have a new Freddy. I don't think bringing back Robert Englund is going to save anything.
Have you watched that Weird House movie with Kevin Bacon from this year? You Should Have Left.
Yeah, unfortunately.
There's moments there. I mean, they kind of brought
that character that he was playing.
Yeah, where it was like, I'd like to see more of Kevin Bacon. Perhaps.
If he was younger. That's the thing. Like, if he's Freddy, how many Freddy movies are going to get with Kevin Bacon?
3, 4.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. So you have, that was actually a rumor a while back where somebody had suggested him and he had retweeted it or something saying, I like how you think. I wouldn't hate that choice.
Right.
I think they could get somebody younger. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think, I mean, we all saw the Freddy that came back for what was it, the Goldbergs, and the Robert Englund Freddy is synonymous with the Freddy, and he can't go back to playing the regular dark, 1984 Freddy, and people are going to wonder, why is he not cracking jokes? So I just don't. I'm a Freddy fanatic, but I don't think I want Robert Englund back, and he's made it very clear he doesn't want to come back. So I think he's done enough. I think his era is at an end. I don't think we need him.
Yeah. Hey, Pete.
CP, when are we going to get a Rocket League team going? Dude, I have no idea what that is.
It's this weird game where you drive cars around, but you're like playing soccer. And you fucking drive around and you're trying to hit a ball. And it's soccer, except instead of people, you're driving little cars around, and there's like ramps. And it's fucking bonkers, and I'm not good at it. God, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just now catching up with whatever's going on in the chat. So yeah, please, I appreciate the compliment, but yeah, let's not do that. Thank you. Happily married.
Me too. Oh.
Oh man, damn! Jim Carrey is Freddy. Now that is interesting.
Same age. He's about the same age as he's in his 50s.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I need to see Jim Carrey do something in horror that isn't absolute dog shit before I'm ready to hand him Freddy. The number 23 was not good.
Oh.
I bought that movie because a friend of mine in high school told me how awesome it was, and I immediately told them how much I fucking hated it. And they were like,
"Never listening to you again."
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just thought it was cool because I'm obsessed with the number 23, and I was like, "Did you watch the movie, or did you just like say, hey, the movie's cool because it says 23 in the fucking cover?"
I like the color black. I'm gonna really buy a movie that has black.
Cameron Monaghan is Freddy. Maybe.
Maybe.
He's a little muscular, but maybe. Blake, of course, I leave the chat for 5 minutes and we have action. We got the Killer Flicks mod back in here, and now all of a sudden shit's popping off. It's just like it's like an omen. Walton Goggins is Freddy. I've seen that suggestion quite a few times too. I wouldn't hate that. He's got the smile, he's got the laugh, and the personality, and yeah. All right. Cody's got groupies. God, please don't take the chat there. All I need is Holly to come in. What the fuck's going on? And we're wrapping up, guys. Oh man. All right. 2 hours and 35 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, I know. It flew past, didn't it? We'll do 5 more questions. Does that sound good?
Make them count, people.
Yeah. Give us your best 5 questions. Dave McRae is Freddy. Keep your eyes peeled. Would you want another Nightmare on Elm Street remake? I do not want another movie that is remaking the first film, if that's what you're asking. I will happily take a reboot in the sense that
a 2018 Halloween type
something like that. I don't necessarily think they have to make it this clearly established. This takes place between this film and this film. I think you could easily do what Dream Warriors did, where you start the movie, you have this new character that falls asleep, ends up at Freddy's house, and then you get introduced to the cast of characters. You don't have to say anything about where this movie fits in the timeline. It could be totally standalone. I mean, you could just start. We know the rules of Freddy. If you have to be introduced to the rules of Freddy, then go watch the first fucking movie. I feel the same way about that as I do like Batman. Like, I don't need to see the fucking pearls and the gun and his parents getting killed again. Just start.
Yeah. He preys on people being afraid of him. You could just have it. You could have it be ultra modern where people looking something up on Google and they find Freddy Krueger. What's the deal with Freddy Krueger? And then they fucking go to Wikipedia and they look into it, and suddenly he's in their brain, and then they fall asleep and blammo.
Mary fucker kill a critter Freddy or Cecil. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Touche. Oh man. Would you like a Child's Play 2 remake with Mark Hamill as Chucky? I would like a sequel to the remake, if that's what you're asking. I don't want them to remake the story of Child's Play 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie was way better than most remakes are. And I think it's unfairly hated on. So they made enough money. I want to see a second one. I want to see them do a better design on the doll and do what they did before. Awesome kills, good characters, have fun with it.
That snowblower kill was fucking amazing.
I mean, that one and the dude with the buzzsaw table. Where he's just like, okay, I'll just turn the fucking heat on the pipe, bitch. We'll see what happens. Stop! Telling you, it was a damn good movie, guys. You're sleeping on it.
Uh-oh.
Can we get another dog?
No.
No.
I knew that one.
I told you there's one of her. She's got a 3-year plan for me. I'm telling you, I'm going to be painting, building decks, and buying dogs. We already have a dog, and he's perfect. We don't need to try to score twice. You can only get lightning in a bottle once. He's lazy enough for all of us. What do you think of In Search of Darkness Part 2 horror doc? I'm actually an affiliate of it. I have not done any videos for it yet. They just started their campaign today, I believe. But yes, for those of you that are not familiar, In Search of Darkness is a 80s horror documentary that came out earlier this year, where you had Corey Taylor, you had James from Dead Meat, you had a lot of different horror celebrities in there, and they were discussing all of these different movies for the 1980s, and they have a part 2 that they are doing right now. So the campaign just launched today. I'm actually going to put my affiliate link, now that we're talking about it, down below in the description once we're done with this show. So if you are interested in it, give me like 5 minutes after this goes live and check the video description, and I will drop my affiliate link, and you can go there to go to this, to contribute to it. Much like any other campaign, the more you give, the more stuff you get. But yes, they're doing a part 2. I believe pretty much everybody involved with part 1 is coming back. Like Corey Taylor, I'm sure Dead Meat and everybody's going to be on there. So if you like horror documentaries, check out the first one. It's on Shudder right now, and then look into the second one. Well, you bought a $600 Chucky doll, so I'm getting Jack's a husky wife. I bought that doll 2 years ago. It just took forever to get here.
Next who would like that is Dogtooth, and I'm ready for it. So soon. 3131 is just engulfing my October. You're a patron? No, you're not a patron. There's some stuff that I'm slowly leaking out for 3131, but Dogtooth November.
Cool. Blake, side note about Hannibal. The entire cast plus production are all game for another season and are basically humping Netflix's legs, so fingers crossed. Well, you hump the shit out of it because I want that. If you need me to do a couple of pumps, I'll get in there. You ripped off Dead Meat. Yep.
Wait, where'd you send me links for Guinea Pig?
Huh? CP, make sure you check out the HQs of Guinea Pig I sent the link for.
Yeah. I'll look for it. Yeah. Everybody and their mothers tell me to watch it.
Same. Are you going to hump Netflix's leg too? I don't know what same is for. All right. What is that? 3 questions? We'll do 2 more. What horror sequel? Shit. God damn it. What horror sequel do you like more than the OG? Me, Psycho 2, Poltergeist 2, Aliens, Friday 2. They're very close, but I do like Dream Warriors the most out of the Freddy movies. I do prefer Psycho 2. There's quite a few Friday movies that I like more than the original. Friday 4, Friday 6.
Does it have to be a 2 though?
I think he just said horror sequel. It just happened to be 2s on his.
Well, Jason Lives.
Yeah, I actually have a video coming out. I might film it today if I get a chance. My next Patreon pick top 10 is 10 sequels that are better than the originals. So I'll be able to elaborate on that a lot more. And there's a lot more than 10. So it was difficult for me to be like, okay, which 10 do I feature? Uh-oh.
Holly.
Oh, shit. I'm going to use the... And that's why she's my wife.
That's awesome.
I bought it 2 years ago. I just been hiding it from you.
Yeah. It finally came in. Wow, new house, new dog, happy wife. I thought the ring settles all the happiness.
Fuck no, man. You know, if being married, that happy wife shit has a fucking ticking clock on it. It's like,
take out the garbage, happy wife.
I proposed to you. Okay, cool. You bought yourself till May. We're married. All right, we're good until. Actually, the marriage thing was short-lived because I told her. I said, okay, we're getting married. I said, I'm telling you now because I know how you are. Do not pester me about a house the day after we get back from the fucking cabins. We didn't even leave the cabins yet before she's like, do you like these houses? And I was like, fucking Christ.
New air filter, happy wife.
Was the first week that she was doing all this house stuff. It was like, it wasn't full on arguments, but there was tension between me and her because I'd be tired as fuck. I'd be sitting there like half awake, like trying to watch something, and I just edited something, and she's like, "You want to come over and look at these houses?" And I'm like, "Fuck you!" And to her credit, she was not waiting, so she went and she got the loan, she got the realtor, she did all the legwork. All I had to do was show up and say, "I like that one," and that was about it. I'm half awake. She's like, "Here, sign this." I need your pay stubs from this. Okay.
She's got a life insurance policy out on you now.
She probably does. She probably does. Oh man. All right, 2 more questions. I don't hang on. Okay, you can answer this. Deftones top 3 albums.
Oh, brother. Diamond Eyes, Koi no Yokan. Around the Fur.
There you go.
Blammo. Right. We all know I'm right.
This won't be the last one, but yes, you should be able to add me. Let's see here.
Sky, we should make you a mod in there. I didn't realize you were in the movies that move me.
Do you have thoughts on I Come in Peace / Dark Angel? That's a no. Cody, Creed's greatest hits. You can answer this one too. We'll end on a music question. Creed's greatest hits. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of bad songs in my opinion.
Yeah, they get unfairly shit on. Like, they're good. I'm sorry to say, I enjoy their music.
Yeah, they had a bad stigma for a while because people were calling them a Christian band, and a lot of Christian lyrics, admittedly, but they always said we're not a Christian band. So there was that. And then Scott Stapp's just a fucking moron, or at least he was for a long time. Maybe he's good now, but he was kind of an embarrassment. I'm pulling up Creed on my YouTube music just so I don't miss any. Yeah. But
I tend to like their stuff that isn't singles.
Yeah, they have a lot of good shit. I mean, they have the singles are all really good, but like Bullets is a very heavy song. If you like heavy rock, like that's a badass tune. A lot of songs off of their like reunion album that came out, Full Circle, in between like the second and third Alter Bridge album, is pretty heavy. That's where for the longest time they only had Mark Tremonti on guitar, and they didn't want to have a second guitarist because they didn't want to add anybody to the band. They didn't want to have to get somebody to tour with. And whenever they and he didn't want to do solos for that reason because he didn't want to have to bring in a rhythm player. And they changed that up for that last album, Full Circle. They brought in a guy that's actually part of his side band, Tremonti. So they brought him in, and so it's a lot heavier. You have like Alter Bridge level guitar playing. Overcome would be the single from that album that's pretty heavy. But even stuff from their first album, like My Own Prison, What's This Life For? That stuff's really good.
Yeah, they were like, I remember their first album came out and people were calling them like watered down Alice in Chains. And it was,
well, he kind of has that voice, that 90s grunge voice where that Eddie Vedder. Yeah. I always think of that scene from Ted. He's like, here's what everybody sang in the 90s. And he starts singing. He kind of has that voice. So I get the joke.
What If? I quite enjoy What If.
Yeah, What If is great. One Last Breath, Inside Us All. A lot. So I mean, I don't know. There's very few Creed songs that I would say that's not a very good song.
Yeah, you could put an album on, and I wouldn't be bothered by any of it.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what? Fuck it. We're so close to 3 hours now. Let's just cut it off at an even 3. You guys are addicting. What's your top 100 of Nickelback? You know, this is funny. I will say this about Nickelback, because a lot of people joke on me because I did that video where I was like, fuck you, Chad Kroger, leave Corey Taylor alone. And CP in company of that. So you have Nickelback, who is probably the most hated band in the world, despite being one of the most successful bands in the world. There was a point in time where I actually really liked Nickelback. Like, I would say up to, was it All the Right Reasons, that came, I believe that was the name of the album, the one that had Animals and Rockstar and a couple others on there. That was the last album of theirs that I liked, because they quickly kind of had this thing where we got to talk about sex and we got to have this very poppy sound about us. And then they just started doing that a lot after that album. And it doesn't help the fact that the singer is a complete self-absorbed cocksucker. So the more I hear him talk, the more that I hate him, and I feel sorry for his bandmates that they're stuck with him. But yeah, they're a band that, like, musically, like talent wise, they could have done so much more, and they did, but they just went that when people talk about selling out, that's Nickelback, where they said, okay, we have this song that has very little artistic merit to it, but we talked about fucking and everybody likes it on the radio. So we're just going to do that a lot. That's selling out. And that's what they did. And that's why a lot of people, they became a joke to them, because it's like every fucking song with them is the same. It's either really poppy shit or it's, hey, let's fuck.
I'll take Too Bad 100 times. Just
yes. Yeah.
It's too bad.
Yeah. That album is pretty damn good. That's when I became a fan of theirs. Is when that album came out.
Christopher, you're gonna have to explain yourself on your comment there, because I'll lean on the Creed is bad music, but Alice in Chains, Godsmack, Pearl Jam, all from an era of music I can't stand. Love rock and metal, but not that commercial soulless crap. So what is it you're talking about then?
I cannot find that comment.
It's up a little bit. I'm sorry, Cody and CP, but Creed is about as bad as music gets. Alice in Chains, Godsmack, Pearl Jam, all from an era of music I just can't stand.
And it's Christopher?
Christopher, Abinette. I'd like to know what soulless, what isn't soulless.
All right, sorry.
Metal.
I mean, to each their own.
Sure.
But fuck you, man. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, teach their own. I don't know. Like Creed, Alice in Chains, Godsmack, Pearl Jam, all from an era of music I just can't stand. That's a wide era. If you had just said Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam, I'd be like, okay, he just doesn't like grunge.
Yeah.
But if you throw Godsmack in there, that's kind of a weird wild card.
Godsmack is a fan, like they're fans of Alice in Chains. Like their band name is an Alice in Chains song. Alice in Chains wrote music about how much they didn't like their popularity. So what isn't commercial if Alice in Chains is?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I would ever use the word commercial to describe Alice in Chains. Creed, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam, I don't know enough to say one way or the other because they're my least favorite of that era.
Yeah.
Godsmack certainly does have commercial music. I would not say that they are entirely commercial.
Yeah.
When you have a song called I Fucking Hate You, that's not really commercial.
Yeah, you need to read the lyrics from some of anything off of Dirt, and then remind yourself that Lane Staley died of a drug overdose, and then tell me that's commercial.
Yeah,
the fucking guy was or soulless. The guy wrote about pain that he was genuinely feeling.
Yeah.
Anyway, good point, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Favorite Scorsese movie? Goodfellas.
Yeah, it's Goodfellas.
Goodfellas with a close second being The Departed for me personally.
Casino's my second, and then Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, that's definitely number 3. I love Wolf of Wall Street. I'm quite fond of Shutter Island. Casino, I've only seen once, and it didn't really hit me the way that everybody else. I'm trying to think of some other. I mean, Taxi Driver's cool. It's a little out there. Wouldn't jump up to my top 5, I don't think. I don't know. He's got a lot of different shit, but yeah, Goodfellas is the easy number 1 for me on that though.
I'm a big fan of Kundun. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say a fucking obscure Scorsese movie.
Still in shock about Alice in Chains being commercial. As are we.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, you know what? I think he's just talking about radio music from the 90s. It's fair. It's all right. Don't make him feel bad.
What old horror film that you watched recently became instantly one of your favorite films? Recently, as in within the past couple years, Candyman. Because I had never seen it before, and when we all decided to review it, I watched it and loved it instantly. I don't know if there's any others. I'm somebody that this is going to sound like a slight, but it really is just me talking the truth. I'm not somebody that watches something and instantly it jumps up into my top whatever.
Yeah.
It very rarely does that happen where I find something and I'm like, holy shit, where the fuck has this been? I tend to take time. A lot of movies that are in my favorites of all time, which you'll see by the end of this year, because I'm going to be doing quite a few ranking videos. A lot of movies that are in my favorites of all time are movies that I've just watched since childhood and have a lot of love and nostalgia for them. I would rather watch something like Lost Boys before I would watch The Godfather, even though The Godfather is infinitely a better movie, technically. So that's...
I think Brian and I have had this discussion. There's steak and there's fast food.
Yes.
Godfather's steak. You don't always want to eat steak. You want a burger every now and again because it's quick. You don't really have to worry about too much. And Goodfellas or Lost Boys is more of a burger than steak.
Yes, and I love my burgers.
Yes. So. Yeah. See. Yeah.
The Lighthouse made me laugh my fucking ass off.
Yeah, I wasn't a Lighthouse fan.
I actually had somebody message me yesterday while I was at work on Instagram and saying like, hey, I'm a big fan of your channel. By the way, I watched The Lighthouse with my significant other and I had already seen your review. And what the fuck did I just watch? That's not for everybody. That's a movie that is for a very select few. And talk about loud. That is a select few that is very loud about how unintelligent you are if you're not a part of their group. But yeah, he rocked the fuck out of that seagull. Say that.
That's a fair assessment, Viper, but it takes a while to get around to Asian cinema. Like I myself am only just getting into Korean movies this year, and Japanese movies, they're a little odd. Like I don't know if you've seen Tag. Tag is out there. They're very a lot of their work that they do on horror movies, especially in Japan, is like stuff in post. Like the audio is really funky, and I'm not talking about like a dubbed version. Like they're really weird with the Foley work. But yeah, Asian horror is hard to get into, and I myself am just forcing myself lately. So it's hard.
Yeah, I get this question all the time. It's like, how have you not seen this movie? It's hard to see everything, guys. Yeah. I mean, like I'm a horror fanatic. There's still like horror classics that I haven't just not made it around to because there's too many times where I have the opportunity to watch something and I have like pile A, movies I've never seen before. Pile B, movies I've seen enough where I can quote every fucking line. Let me see that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I go. So there's movies that I have had 30 years to watch and just haven't.
Well, plus there's the element of like you have to pay attention. Like you have to read. Like you genuinely.
Oh yeah,
put your eyes off the screen. Like not even like to get a drink. Like oh fuck, what I miss.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah,
especially for somebody with kids, that's extremely hard.
It takes getting used to.
Yeah, so I've seen a few foreign films. For the longest time, I refused to watch them because I hate subtitles. Over the past 2 years or so, I've slowly dipped into more of them. Yeah, it's just, it takes time. Can you check out my super chat? Okay. You guys excited for WandaVision?
Huh?
I will watch every single one of those MCU Disney Plus TV series, but I would not say I'm excited for any of them. I don't really know. I didn't even watch the trailer for WandaVision, so I really don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. Like, I'm not somebody that has fatigue, but after Endgame, I just kind of feel like, what are we still doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Endgame was just such an ending for all of them. It was kind of like, yeah, exactly. I contradict myself in the sense that I'll be there day one to watch whatever the hell they do. But at the same time, there's nothing where I'm like, yes, I have to have that. Like it's after Endgame now, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm in the after show.
And with Chadwick dying, it's just like, all right, guys.
Yeah, that exactly. And it's just, I'm excited about DC stuff because it feels like they're finally on track and they're building to something and they're getting their shit together. And, MCU, for all intents and purposes, had their series finale already. And now we're just kind of in this whatever phase. They haven't really given us an idea of what they're building to. You have Spider-Man that is now becoming Spider-Verse apparently, and it's going to have Doctor Strange. And
Can't carry his own movie, the fucking guy.
Yeah, that was my thing. I posted on Twitter. I was like, 2 thoughts. 1, they might as well just call this Spider-Verse at this point. And 2, they, for as much as they love Tom Holland, they sure as fuck don't trust him to carry a movie. They're like, no, bitch, you get a mentor again. So it's yeah. Spider-Man, I have no idea. Obviously, none of us know what's going to happen with Black Panther now. You have these TV series with all of the mainline Avengers coming that I really don't know what to expect. If I was going to get excited for any of them, it would be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier one, but that's just because I'm a Captain America whore. But yeah, I don't know. MCU I still love, but I feel like it's done. Like I feel like we did what we need to do, and now it's just kind of like, where are we going? What's the next step? Black Widow. It's like, okay, she's dead. You know, now you give her movie after you fucking kill her. It's a little weird. So yeah, every time someone trashes Alice in Chains, I get another gray hair.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Stop. Have you seen Coffin Joe movies? Coffin Joes?
I've never heard of that.
It's a super chat right under Holly thing.
Gotta get back to work so I can make money to buy my new dog. You should have plenty of money with all your unemployment shit.
Oh, send it here. My money's going to
it's so look, I'm not bitching about it because it's our money. But but it's been funny because her boss has been awesome about making sure that any of them that lose hours get the unemployment that they're entitled to with all the stuff that they're having out there. I've had to work since day one of this COVID shit, and my company is kind of like, you know, fuck you, see you Monday. And so it's she's been making money hand over fist with this COVID thing.
Tell me,
I give her shit all the time because whenever we have something big, she's like, "Oh, I'll just put it on the unemployment card," and I'm like, "Fuck it, I want an unemployment card."
If I didn't marry the import, I'd have a lot more money right now. But
yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that was a super chat. I'm not sure who that is. I'm sorry.
Likewise.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a weird.
Avoid it. That'll get into politics.
Yeah. You're right. Okay, we'll end on this one because it's appropriate and because it's music. Favorite Van Halen song?
Yeah.
Admittedly, I've never been a big Van Halen fan. Oh, I guess we'll have 2 because we have a super chat. We'll get into this and then we'll end with Van Halen. Do you guys like Linkin Park? I like a few of their songs. I was never a fanatic, and obviously, I'm not going to become a fanatic because Chester died. But
their first 2 albums I like.
There you go. Favorite Van Halen song. So I was never a big fan of Van Halen. There's certainly some songs that I like. I was not there in the 80s when he stormed onto the scene and changed guitar playing forever. I'm one of those weird people that I think that Sammy Hagar is a much better frontman than okay, good. We're 1 of 2 then. I don't think vocal quality, there's even an argument. People can say that David Lee Roth's a better showman. But I think Sammy Hagar is far and away the better frontman.
Got more feeling in his singing too.
Yeah, so I'm one of those weird Van Halen fans. But the early stuff with David Lee Roth is certainly more iconic and certainly more revolutionary. Favorite Van Halen song? I don't really have a favorite, but if I was going to do like a top 3, it would be Running with the Devil, Hot for Teacher, and Unchained.
5150, and that doesn't really display Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing skills nearly as much as.
Well, he technically did make the guitar too, so you're not wrong.
Oh, that's right. The Frankenstein. 5150 is my favorite Van Halen song. Unchained is good. I'm sick of Jump because everybody listens to Jump. So thanks for ruining that song, guys.
Yeah, Jump is one of those radio casualties. I love Ain't Talking About Love. I've never really been a big fan of You Really Got Me. That's not really one that I've cared for too much. Or Girl, You Really Got It Now. But I don't remember what the title of that one is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Trying to see. OU812 is
Panama. Panama's a good song. If as far as the Sammy Hagar stuff, Why Can't This Be Love is great. Yeah. Pound Cake is great. Dreams, is that a song? I'm pretty sure Dreams is Dreams is great. So yeah, casual Van Halen fan, but yeah, rest in peace, old Eddie.
Yeah, guy smoked to the very end, man. So
yep, exactly. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Oh man. Mean Streets and Pound Cake, says Stay Metal Ray.
It was federal, Aaron. It was federal.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
On that note, we'll wrap this bitch up. 3 hours and 5 minutes that went by and like felt like 90 minutes. So yes, hope you guys enjoyed this. Oh, I just saw your private message. Sorry, that threw me off. I was like, what does that mean? Who? What? Where? So, yep. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Holly, for dropping in and giving us some laughs there at the end. I guess I'll keep everybody updated if I come home and find a litter of puppies in my house. But we'll see you guys. I don't know when the next dead air will be. It'd probably be a week or so after I move. But if I could squeeze that in, if we got a topic we want to talk about, you'll see us again soon. Thank you for supporting us, watching as always. Thank you for all of these super chats, especially. You guys are always awesome with those. CP, anything to promote aside from Dogtooth?
Dogtooth is November. Patrons are getting slow pieces of 31 on 31, but watching shit for 31 on 31, and that's the big production for the month. So
there you go. I'll have something coming out about In Search of Darkness here soon. I will post that link, so keep an eye out if you guys want to check that out here in about 5-10 minutes. I'm also going to be doing that top 10 that I said, sequels that are better than the originals. Dexter, I believe, will be this weekend. I'm working with Mother Mayhem on this, and she's got a very difficult schedule, so I'm just kind of casually watching them and filming stuff until she's ready. So we tried for today. She had something come up, so I told her if it's this weekend, that's fine. If it's after that, it's not a big deal. There's no time limit on Dexter, so keep an eye out for that. Dexter season 1 review with Mother Mayhem. And with that being said, guys, see ya.
Dude.